Race fans, 3 Wide TV and the 100% Cup Series welcome you to the championship finale here at Phoenix Raceway. Tonight, we remember and pay tribute to a friend and inspiration of the league, Coben Johnson, aka Jimmy. Damaris and I are joined in the booth tonight by Coben's mother, Callie, and his uncle, Dustin. Dustin, turning this championship event into a way to honor Coben was something that you were very passionate about doing, and I'm sure long-term viewers of the league have seen those Jimmy Strong ribbons on so many cars over the years in the league, but now we get to tell the world a little bit more about the life of the young man that the ribbon represents.
Yeah, thank you, Andre. And I can't take credit for for spearheading this idea. When it was brought up, I was no doubt behind it. But I owe all those thanks to you guys who put this show on, to Morris, the league, you guys in the broadcast booth, for everybody just being so on board with sharing Jimmy's story and overall child cancer awareness and really spreading that, the injustice that is the fact that it's so underfunded, and mostly keeping it light, keeping it positive, and remembering such an amazing young man that I was very privileged to serve his time as his uncle. So we thank you guys most of all.
Thank you, Dustin, and again, thank you, Callie, for joining us in the booth once again. It's going to be a very special night, and it's going to be a lot of fun action on the track as well here at eSports. The championship race generally doesn't disappoint. I know here in 100% Cup Series, even spanning back to the Galaxy days, these races have a bit of a history of being very dramatic, so it should be a great show, and I think we're going to do Coben some justice here tonight. We do have some race details on the track, a little bit of the weather information. That's a little bit difficult for me to see due to the pixelation and artifacting on my end, but either way, we are in the desert, so you can expect some high temps. We're going to be slipping and sliding, relatively low banking, and while Damaris is still getting some things set up on his end. Dustin, you're a driver. You've probably turned more laps around this place than any of us. What are the drivers going to be looking at facing here tonight?
Tire preservation is going to be a big thing. Looking at the weather now, it looks like track temp's 84. So it's not going to be as crucial as one of those hot summer days in Phoenix, but it definitely is a big thing here. It's an old surface. You definitely need to preserve the tires. The other thing you're going to be seeing a lot of is multi-groove through 1 and 2, and weighing out that risk. Is it worth it to go through 1 and 2, middle or high, to show a nose on exit of 2 to make a pass, and risk maybe taking a lap or so of life off your tires in doing so? That's going to be something to keep an eye on, but definitely a key of the race.
Absolutely. Now, that's a driver's perspective coming from Dustin, but Callie, what about a fan's perspective? What are you looking for in tonight's event? What do you want to see on track?
I'm just always looking for a good race. I want to see it clean. Let these guys just go actually race it out. I don't want to see any, nonsense wrecks that don't need to happen. Just have a good, fun race.
Hard to argue with that. Definitely looking for a good, clean race. No truck series stuff tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try to keep that to a minimum. If anybody watched the real-life truck series event last night, that was quite the event. But the championship for tonight, I do believe the drivers contending for the championship, John Delaney, Lucas Weitzman, and it is going to be Alex Murray and number 4 of Matt DiCianni, who was a bit of a dark horse pick. I know there were a couple drivers that had him pinned early on for a bit of a contender, and he's gotten through the playoffs and through the season through a lot of tenacity and a lot of perseverance, just really good consistent runs. Maybe not the fastest car week in and week out, but you're in NASCAR and really stock car racing as a whole, you don't have to be the fastest if you're the guy who actually finishes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
Carlos.
Andre. Go ahead.
Sorry, Carlos.
Go ahead.
Absolutely, Andre. Yeah, Matt DiCianni, man, who clutched up and won his way into Championship 4. Definitely, actually was part of the reason that Patrick Gitter was able to make it. So he was kind of expected our Rookie of the Year in the 21 car. Unable to make the playoffs because of Matt DiCianni, who pulled a rabbit out of his hat and was able to win his way into Championship 4. Not to show favoritism, but kind of hoping for the underdog here, which is Matt DiCianni. So hopefully that number 4 EPI Chevrolet can make some magic happen this evening here at Phoenix.
As a feuding car owner, I'll say I agree with you, Andre. We're going head-to-head here tonight.
Yeah, that we are. We're going to be doing a little bit of let's call it team owner competition, friendly competition, of course.
Of course, yeah.
And I know we when I was still in the booth full time earlier in the year, we were kind of playing up the rivalry there, and I was talking about LMM versus TC, and Dustin here messaged me. He's like, "You guys know we're not actually like rivals, right?" I'm like, "Yes, I know. I'm trying to put on a good show."
And I said, yes, sir, I'm on board. Let's do this.
Absolutely. But it looks like they are still warming up. And, you know, while we do have some time, I guess I'll pick your driver brain a little bit more here, Dustin. What exactly goes into the preparation for this event, and how does it differ from the preparation going into a regular race on any given weekend?
Well, I mean, this one's it. You know, this is the last race of the year. If you're one of the championship contenders, you have one goal in mind, and that is to be that top finisher of those four. For the rest of us, it's an opportunity to leave the season on a good note and really try and build some momentum into the off season and into next season.
Yeah, that is the case, and the setup's going to be very, very important. Again, you know, with this league being an open setup league, it seems like open setup leagues are becoming more rare on the iRacing service, but they do open up the possibility for these drivers and teams to work on their car, get it tuned in just the way they want. And with these events being so long compared to a lot of league races doing the full length events, you're going to have to find a setup that's got a good balance. You know, you want a setup that's going to be potentially good on a short run in case you get a late race caution, but at the same time, you can't have a car that's only good on the long run or on the short run, because you might have a long green flag stint, you fall back, lose track position, and that could be the difference, Damaris, between winning or losing a championship.
Absolutely, man. It's look, these guys have put in the work all year long. Again, we are full length simulated NASCAR series, so you know we run every single race to the distance that the guys in Full Metal NASCAR does it, and in NASCAR. And so these guys have been here all year, right? So we started in February, and here we are at championship race for Copeland Johnson Championship Saturday, and all that dedication comes out to here, right? So we've gone through the playoff process, and these guys are here to compete. And the guys that aren't here for the championship, we still have potentially some charter implications. So the top 25 in points are offered to charters for the next season here in 100% Cup Series. So several of those guys are racing for bragging rights, but also to secure their charter for next year. That makes a huge impact on the driver market and free agency. Obviously, the teams want to secure those guys that have the guaranteed spots, as the guys with the Tier 1 charters have. So, yeah, man, huge effort all season, all year, man. Can't thank these guys enough for showing up, racing clean, racing hard, week in, week out. And hopefully we get another show and a great finale here this evening. And just take a look at the speed charts here, Andre. I'm seeing that our man Delaney doing Delaney things, as Corey Silver would say, with the 27.2. So he is the fastest man atop the speed charts right now. So yeah, as always, we come in, that 6 car is lightning quick everywhere he goes, and it looks like tonight's going to be another episode of that, and hopefully the guys will be able to deal with that. And most of the teams and the drivers, they'll have spotters, crew chiefs, right? We got Dustin in here sitting with us, so it's a little bit of time we're taking away from his group and his car. But there's several teams like that, right, that have their engineers and their spotters, and you know they'll be making the adjustments as the weather changes, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's going to change quite a bit, I think, throughout the day. That's another thing about the full-length races is, you know, if you have a league that goes out there and runs 50-lap sprint races, you're not really going to see a whole lot of change. You might get a little cloud cover here or there, but we could see the temperature rise, drop. We could see cloud coverage come in and stay, or come and leave. Any number of things can happen over the course of a nearly 3-hour event. So these guys have a lot on their plates to think about, and this track in general, it's tough. You know, it's such a wide track. Of course, you can see on practice right now, these guys are cutting the dog leg, and that's going to be a decision they're going to have to make. Do they want to cut the dog leg? Do they want to stay on the track? And particularly that part of the track, what makes it so difficult, and Damaris, I know you can attest to this, and so can Dustin, but it's so difficult to tell. Did that guy just cut the dog leg? Is he underneath me now? Is he above me? What is going on through that dog leg? Because you're going to get in 4, 5, 6 wide situations. And unless your spotter is an auctioneer, you're probably not going to get the full grasp on what's going on around you.
Yeah, not only that, another thing to watch out for. So as guys dive below, I guess what you would call the race to surface, although we use it all here because it's all asphalt at the newly configured Phoenix from the way that it was configured years ago. But the thing about the automated spotter, so a lot of the guys in the sim, for those unfamiliar, you have a spotter you can turn on in sim. And some guys even use a third-party tool or application that kind of layers on top of that, give you some more information. Crew Chief is a popular one, application among that. But that's what's calling out your, right side, low side, calling out your lap times. But to your point, Andre, when you're below that racing surface, a lot of these applications, I believe the in-car spotter as well, you could be 4 wide, and if 2 of those guys are racing on the flat surface below the yellow line, that spotter might not call them out. So you might not know how far, how many people are below you. You only kind of get the picture of what's actually on the track. So above that yellow line, as we're watching here, Phoenix, as you watch cars work around the track here. So that's something to watch out for, and they're definitely going to be fanning out on these restarts and the initial start. So that's also a strategy to probably get low as they can to that wall. Some of them almost clipped that pit exit wall there. John Delaney is notorious for here and as well as New Hampshire. He'll get down there on that apron like we saw in the Truck Series in the real life NASCAR last night, and he'll get all the way down there and try to make something happen. So we'll have to be on the watch out for that. I know that in 2020, a big moment that you can check out on our YouTube shorts on the YouTube channel, as we have the kind of how the playoffs have unfolded here on screen. Thank you, Carlos, for that. So you kind of see how the playoffs have gone, and you see our 4 guys that are competing tonight for the championship. But yeah, you will see those guys kind of fan out and go all over the track, and you might see John Delaney looks like dip down in that on that apron. And as I was saying, in 2020, I believe there's the short you can watch is, I think it was Cam Caldwell and Kevin Steele, as they were competing for a title with about 3 or 4 to go in the race, that very thing happened, right, where they ducked onto the apron trying to get everything they could, and chaos ensued with yourself and Ken Bueno, I think, on the call. Back then, it was a pretty epic moment, and moved to a green-white checkered. But yeah, be on the watch out for that. Again, look, you've put in 9 months of work, and I'm pretty sure there's some guys out here that would wreck their grandma, as they say, to try to get that championship. So we'll keep an eye on that as we kind of wind down towards that checkered flag.
Yeah, especially when it comes to John Delaney. I remember I used to say that he would wreck his grandmother to get to the front of a Walmart checkout line. He's just a very aggressive driver. He's mellowed out a lot over the years, but you get to these championship events and the aggression goes up. Speaking of champions, the Dirty South Racing organization has locked up the team championship points, which was really, I think, unexpected for a lot of drivers. This is the first year that Apex is not the team champions, and it was really a bit of a late, I would say, mid-season rise. Dirty South signed some real talent and climbed their way up the ranks. Manufacturer champion, to the surprise of nobody, Chevrolet. They've been leading the way for most of the season. Ford got close for a little while there, but fell back off, I do believe, and then Toyota trailed quite distantly. So definitely an interesting championship result for the team. And then Rookie of the Year going ultimately to Patrick Gitter. And Mars, that was a really good battle all year long. It seemed like between Patrick Gitter and Schofield and a few other drivers, nobody really got a massive advantage until really late into the season. And usually the Rookie of the Year contender isn't really that close. So that was a good battle.
Yeah, man, it was ebbs and flows all through the season. Patrick Gitter, who had I think he led for most of it, but look, Andrew Dyson coming on strong again. Started out here in 100% Cup Series as kind of the road specialist, right? He has that 6.5K iRating on the roads, which just for those, it's just your kind of official rating and how good you are, how quick you are, right? The quicker and faster you are, the higher your iRating is. So that's well above the average on the road side here in iRacing. I think the average is something around like 1,800 or something like that. So road specialist, but over time, as he's raced more and more of these full length races, has gotten the experience, has learned how to preserve those tires on the ovals, how to get around guys, how to kind of measure out that start to finish here, and came on very strong at the beginning. We also had Clayton Hoffman, not in attendance tonight, for I believe he also races for the GCR squad, but DSR squad, but same thing, right? He railed off a couple wins here and there. I think he got Bristol earlier in the spring, so yeah, definitely was highly contested. Wasn't locked up, so Patrick Gitter came in after Martinsville, pulled out to I think a 77-point lead, so he has that all wrapped up for Rookie of the Year. So congrats to the 21 machine, and I think one of Dustin Hall's cars there. So team owner racking up the hardware there for the EPI boys. But yeah, it was a definitely by our toughest and closest rookie battle. I think since our inception, as you mentioned, there's usually a standout. I think Cam Stone won it in his year; he won the title. I think Delaney took his as well. So yeah, it's been a fun battle to watch, and huge thanks to all the guys that came out there, and even Lynn Schofield was in that battle as well. I think he actually got him a win. I think it was Pocono or somewhere around there. So hugely contested. Thanks for the guys. Same thing on the manufacturer side you mentioned there, Andre. Yep, Ford put up a battle this year. It was much closer than it was last season in 2022. And yeah, just no TRD support here in the series, so not a lot there. It's usually Bobby Anderson carrying the flag for himself. Again, after we had the Prodigy eSports team switch mid-season from TRD to Ford Performance, and that's kind of put the nail in the coffin for the manufacturers. But yep, Chevy walks away with the title there, and Patrick Gidder, the 21-year Rookie of the Year.
Yes, so some good points battles all around. And of course, the most important battle is to be decided tonight at the conclusion of the race. Who is going to be the league champion? We have not had yet a repeat champion, although I believe Delaney would be eligible for that honor if he were to win tonight. Is that correct, Marcy? He'd be the first repeat?
Yes, he would. So, yep, we had a couple drivers compete for it. I think Cam was in the Final Four in 21. I think Benefield, this would have been his second crack at the title from his 21 title. So, yep, John Delaney trying to go back-to-back. So, your current reigning and defending 100% Cup champion, and has only gotten better. He set the world on fire. The stat line from last year, Andre, was ridiculous. Multiple wins, all the top fives. I mean, he was winning everything that he could. And it's only gotten better. Look, we've mentioned this in the last couple broadcasts, but competing right now for a spot in the Coca-Cola iRacing Series, which is the top level of esports on the oval side here, and all of sim racing. So the 40 best oval drivers in the world. And even some of those guys are starting to get little late model seats and opportunities here and there. So making that step into the real world. And he's competing to be one of those 40 special drivers, is on track right now to make it. So it's scary to think that he's only gotten better. But hey, look, the competition in the 100% Cup has also gotten better. So as he's grown, we've grown with him. So you get the likes of the DeCianis, of the Murrays, of the Hoytsmas. Hoytsma again, so he's in the top four, in the Champ 4 for second year in a row. So didn't quite come out with it last year, but got another crack at it tonight. So yeah, but Delaney trying to go and try to be the first two-time champion in league history. So let's see if he was able to pull that off.
That would be an interesting stat. Now let's bring Dustin back into the conversation. Now, Dustin, obviously you already said your pick for the champion. A little bit of favoritism there. You got to pull for your boy. But other than your boy, as a driver, you've raced with these guys. You've competed with them. You've been door to door. Here at Phoenix, who's catching your eye here in this championship for?
I would say I'd have to throw this between Delaney and Alex Murray. But given the amount of experience in the league, and as Damaris touched on, the level of maturity that has come upon the young pig, I'd have to put my money on Delaney tonight. He's got a lot of speed, and his racecraft and his ability to put together a full length race has really come a long way, and I think he gets it done tonight.
Of course, John Delaney is on a road to the Coke Series, it would seem. He's been doing really good in the Contender Series, and he's just been a phenomenal contender. And like you guys both said, I just have to echo it. He has advanced so far as a driver, from a maturity perspective, from a consistency perspective. He drove for my team not too long ago, and we pretty much fired him because he was such a wild card, and he was so difficult to work with for my other drivers. And now I'm sitting there thinking, well, that was a mistake because he has come so far. And
see, he's just built different, Andre.
He is. He's built different. He's working those 87-hour unpaid shifts. He does not have soft hands. Can confirm. But he's been doing pretty good. But Callie, how about you, from a fan's perspective of the Championship 4? Who's got your eye? Might be AFK.
Yep, might be able to.
It's all right.
Well, I mean, I'll step in. I look, again, I think, you'd be a fool not to put the money on Delaney. I mean, He is the all-around best driver that we have. He's, again, quick everywhere, short track, super speedway, road course. He's the all-around weapon. But, I got to say, man, again, as I said, I think I'm pulling for the little 4 car. I want the Cinderella story to continue. The guy has a hot hand. So right now, Matt DeCiani is going to be my pick for the win. I think that he might not be able to get away. So a couple strategy calls put him in position. And if you put him in that position, I think he can close it out. So we'll keep an eye on the number 4 machine of Matt DeCiani. That's who I would. That's who I'm putting the money on tonight, and hopefully he doesn't make a fool out of me. And we'll see what he can leverage against the rest of the championship 3.
Putting the big bucks on DeCiani. I agree. I think that's a good call. I think, obviously anytime you have a winner-take-all event, it can be a little bit unpredictable. I think any one of these drivers has a good chance. And Matt DeCiani, he's been so consistent all year long. I couldn't necessarily bet against him. Obviously, being Lucas Poitsma's team owner, I think I have to pick him. It's my obligation. But if I wasn't going to pick him, if I was going to pick somebody not on my team, I'm going to say that Alex Murray might have a pretty good shot here. He's just one of those drivers that is consistently up front. Maybe not consistently the fastest car in the field. I think John Delaney might have him beat on pace, but Murray seems to be a little bit more consistent in terms of just being there at the end. And if something were to Delaney, then I think it's going to be Murray in that catbird seat, maybe with Lucas right alongside him. So phenomenally capable of winning here tonight and getting the championship.
Let me
only 25
real
seconds.
Quick as the guys are getting ready to grid it. Let me just lay some numbers on you here, Andre. So just looking back at the Phoenix race that we had in the spring of our championship 4, just a rundown of where they finished. So John Delaney actually won that race, so that bodes well for him this evening, right? He again, as iRacing goes along the year, they do update, so things do change a little bit with the car handling and setups. But he did win that race. He finished 36th. Hoytsma was 4th in that race, and Alex Murray took home 9, so a top 10 for him. So that was kind of the layout of the land earlier this year in the spring when we came to Phoenix.
So it'll be interesting to see what has changed since then. Some of these drivers may have put in some more practice, and you never know. The fall race obviously always going to go a little bit differently than the spring race, especially with the different circumstances based around it. But we do have the cars getting ready to hit the grid here at Phoenix.
Shoot, I gotta go.
All right. Well, Dustin, thank you for joining us here in the booth. And again, thank you for helping to organize this event in memory of Coben. And we'll be talking to you again probably here at the end of it.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you very much, guys. We really appreciate it. Hey, thanks, Callie. Good luck to you, too.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. I don't know how to work this microphone.
You're all right.
All good.
We've had our fair share of technical difficulties in the past, and we always make it out the other side. So no worries there. But I believe we have a graphic for the starting grid, if we can get that pulled up and see exactly where favorite drivers are going to be running off.
Yeah, I think we might be having some technical difficulties there, but Andrew Dyson on the pole, on the front row with him will be.
Go. Go.
And we are back, still having a little bit of technical difficulties here as the stream on our end has not returned. We do apologize. We are trying to get this under control as quickly as we can. But Damaris, you are still in the session. You can still see. You are not the blind leading the blind. You have eyes. So why don't you? Oh, no, there we go. We have the visuals back. Everything is good to go.
All right, the electricity is back on in the booth. All right, and pictures back on screen. So apologies for the technical difficulties, but we're back. Championship Saturday, so we are working lap number 8, going to lap 60 here at the end of stage 1. So that's what the guys will be working to here. So you can see the field is kind of single filed out. So tire save mode is in effect. So similar to how we saw with Vegas and Homestead, Miami, when we were there, you kind of have to take care of your equipment for these first 15 to 20 laps. But one man that is not or able to save tires and keep the pace, John Delaney, is out front, is your current leader here in the 6 machine. And he already has about a half a second lead over Andrew Dyson. So keeping an eye here on where our playoff contenders are running. Looks like the next contender to John Delaney is Alex Murray in the 22. He's currently running in that 6th position. So he's already a couple seconds back. And again, the field single filed out and trying to preserve those tires, trying to manage your car in the dirty air. The aero effects will be a big part here at Phoenix, similar to Homestead and Las Vegas and Kansas and those tracks that we've kind of come from. Not so much at Martinsville was kind of our little respite from the dirty air, but back in play tonight. As we mentioned, again, multiple lanes here at Phoenix on both sides of the track that you can take. You can kind of go high to middle in 3 and 4 or in 1 and 2. And of course, you can cut that dog leg as much as you like, depending on how your car setup is. Again, some guys will, not want to cut it as much. You can in previous races here, you have been able to kind of damage your car if you slam there too hard on some of the harsh transitions there from the dog leg, so front stretch and getting back into 1 and 2. But again, that's kind of setup dependent, so the guys will kind of know they've had the practice and all the running throughout the week to kind of determine what their tolerance is for that. So as we continue to work laps, and my screen went away again. There we go. Lap number 12 of 312. Again, going to lap 60 as we continue to watch John Delaney lead the field here into 1 and 2.
Yeah, Dyson is trying to keep pace with Delaney here. He's not too far off in terms of lap times. Delaney just lap after lap, ticking away a little bit more, 100th here, a 10th there, and he's getting out to a solo lead. But this is a track that I think is going to play pretty well for Dyson. Not a championship contender, but still going for bragging rights, still going for a trophy. And, Phoenix has a lot of off-throttle time. The car is going to be very slick. You're going to find yourself braking, I believe, down into what is now 3 and 4, depending on how old the tires are, what you're doing with the setup. So that does kind of lend into the hands of a road racer. So no stranger to this type of racing is Dyson. No surprise to see him up in 2nd place. The number 76, Eric Heitman, running at P3, and Robert Miller conceded a couple positions from qualifying. He's down to 4th. Alex Murray, the championship contender, they're running at P5 as well. As we go to the 3-wide 3D multicam. Top of your screen, that is going to be race leader John Delaney. Bottom of the screen, that is a bit of a battle going on, and again, that multi-groove coming into play. You talk about it a little bit, Damaris, but yeah, you can run high, you can run low, which is a little bit strange, and that was one thing that always kind of baffled me, and maybe it's just a work of iRacing, but generally, a track with this little banking, you're not going to get multi-groove racing out of, but you do see it a little bit.
Yeah, as we were watching the battle, Alex Murray and his teammate, Derek Heitman, were side by side there. It's Patrick Gitter also in the mix as they round through 1 and 2. Yeah, but that multi-groove, so, there's kind of a preferred line. Typically, you do want to wrap the bottom of the track, but as the tires wear, and again, kind of setup dependent, you can set up your car for how you want to run if you want to carry more momentum on entry versus exit. And that's usually a tactical decision, so all the engineers and all the crew chiefs during the week would have been, going through the public lobbies and any other league series that they have to kind of determine what's the best approach there, right? So you got to try to pick your poison, right? Do you want to set up your car for the short run, or do you want to build a long run monster that you're able to hold off if you get a long tire run? Of course, this series typically you will get a long run, especially in the 3rd stage. But it could all come down to a green-white checker in which you wish maybe you had more of that entry speed, right, to protect from the chrome horn or the getting moved out of the way, because that will be on the table as we get later on in the race. But continue to watch Alex Murray. So in that 4th position, about 3 seconds or 2.5 seconds back from John Delaney, who continues to lead, a 1.5 seconds out from Andrew Dyson. And Robert Miller, who is always a beast here at Phoenix, will definitely be a threat to win, is continuing to run in that 3rd position. But we're all single filed out still as the guys are measuring the drivers in front of them, seeing where they're weak, gauging where they're strong, learning and gathering that data for the following stages so they can pounce on any weakness they see throughout the field.
Yeah, learning and adapting throughout the course of the event is something that is very important. And I think that if we're going to talk about championship contenders, I think that's something that Team Conti has always done phenomenally. I mean, I always go back to the one and only rain delay in the history of iRacing back at Auto Club. Adam Benefield did not have a car to win over Team Conti. He was at best a third, fourth place car. We had that session go down. The servers decided to be uncooperative, and so we had to make a brand new race midway through. And in the few minutes in between, Adam Benefield said, okay, I see what Bryson's doing. I see what everybody else is doing. I'm going to make a setup change mid-race. And he went on to win that event. So Team Conti, no stranger to adapting and learning from the competition. So Matt DeCiani now a little bit further back. He is the third current runner as far as the championship is concerned. But, you know, he's got a lot of fast cars in his windshield, maybe picking up a thing or two.
Yeah, and let us know, definitely. So we have some viewers in the chat. Hopefully you all rejoin us after our technical difficulties. So thank you for joining us here on this Championship Saturday in the 100% Cup Series, where we also honor and celebrate the life of Coben James Johnson. So Jimmy Strong banners you'll see on the car. You can find all of your Championship 4 contenders highlighted in the various colors on the left side of your ticker, and also the scrolling up top. So we have blue for John Delaney, Murray's gone with orange, DeCiani in yellow, and Woodsma also looks like in a blue color there. So that's how you'll keep track of the guys that are racing for the championship. But again, as Andre said, look, that's not all that's going on. You know, our manufacturers championship is wrapped up. The rookie of the year is wrapped up, as well as the manufacturers championship, kind of all wrapped up, settled after Martinsville. But a lot of these guys are racing again for that opportunity. Again, the top 25 will be offered a charter as we ride on board here with Lucas Hoytsman, riding in your 12th position, following Matt DeCiani. So 2 of your championship 4 contenders here, nose to tail, as they work lap number 23. But a lot of these guys, as I've mentioned, will be racing for the top 25 in points. Again, those will be the first 25 offered T1 charters in this series. We do have a charter system, quite similar comparable to real life NASCAR. So if you're able to acquire a T1 charter, that means you have a guaranteed spot in all the races in the following season, and even comes with a few provisionals to use throughout the year if you're unable to make qualifying sessions for the series. So still some stuff to play for here, but also bragging rights as always. But these guys are some of the highest rated oval races in iRacing, in sim racing. A lot of these guys affiliated with professional esports teams and even some NASCAR organizations on the sim side. So definitely wanting to get the best out of the car and get the best fitting position so they can have a little bit of the bragging rights. Not only that, some inside baseball, but some of the setup shops here is kind of Secret Wars is kind of the undertone here in our series as well. Is a lot of the setup shops that supply those professional esports drivers want to be able to grab those 100% banners and throw them on their marketing material. So a lot of that be going on through the field as well as we ride on board here. Alex Murray, one of your championship 4 contenders, sitting here in 4th position. Again, going through the turns, riding up front, trying to figure out where his car is good. He'll be paying attention to what he's feeling throughout the run, as we also have him there on screen. So thanks, Alex Murray, for jumping us on cam tonight. But he'll be working to figure out what adjustments he needs to make to that car. Again, we have 2 stage breaks planned, plus any cautious calls that we get tonight. And those will be critical moments to get that car right if it's not handling as you want it to.
Yeah, absolutely. The stage cautions are going to guarantee at least 2 resets for these drivers. So if the car is not exactly where you want it, if you start to fall back and maybe need the field to be bunched back up, or maybe you're really unfortunate and you need a lucky dog or a wave around, you got 2 opportunities, guaranteed. Anything past that, it's going to be luck of the draw. Did we get any cautions for cause? I'm going to say we're not going to get too many. I think these drivers are, I mean, they know what they're doing. We don't get that many cautions for cause here at Phoenix generally until the end. Sometimes things get a little crazy at the end. But for the most part, I think these guys can rely on some longer green flag runs, and that's kind of what they're planning their strategy around. Again, stage 1 here at lap 60, that should be under a fuel run, so you're not going to have to worry about coming down pit road under green, which is definitely a good thing, I think, for a lot of these guys, because this pit road is definitely now one of the most convoluted you're going to see. You come down pit road on the back straightaway, and there's a couple of curves in there, and got to deal with this, try not to speed, and then you come out in the dog leg. It's just a bit of a mess all the way around, and it's not easy to deal with as a driver. But 3 seconds going to be the gap from Delaney to Dyson, who now finds himself even a bit of a battle here. Again, I'm looking at a Game Boy Color screen at the moment. I'm updating iRacing, so I'm getting the session, have a better visual, but I believe that is Robert Miller to the quarter panel of Andrew Dyson, and these two going to fight for position going down into 3 and 4. And I was talking to a couple of people in Discord last night when we were watching the truck race tomorrow night. I mentioned that wall down into turn 3 is one of the scariest things in NASCAR to me. Just the fact that you have to get so close to that wall to get the right line through that corner. And these guys are doing it lap after lap. I mean, you are literally aiming for that safer barrier.
Yeah, look, that'll be the name of the game, keeping your car out of that wall. Again, both sides, right? Not just outside, inside, but on both sides, again, dog leg, and then coming out of 2 and 4. We just had a pass on as we watch. Yeah, we are watching the 15 of Robert Miller, who was diving to the apron on the dog leg on Dyson, showing his nose here. He looks like he may be going for the move. Not quite, will fall back, but making his intentions known to the 04 car that he is ready to go as we go back right behind them. Another side-by-side battle behind those two. So this is Murray and Gitter, I believe, who are doing battle. And Patrick Gitter will keep that position, Alex Murray will keep that position away from the 21 machine. So 33 laps into the run, Andre, the tires are starting to fall off. Guys are starting to lose connections. So the train is coming unglued, and the 3, 4, 5, and 6 car packs are starting to join. I want to go back in the field, something we've also been watching. Matt DeCiani, a little bit on the slide backwards. He's now running back in 13th. Was in 10th not too long ago. I did see maybe last lap, Lucas Hoisman was able to get underneath him. Looks like he is trying to set sail. So you'll see those two cars with the red banners, spoilers, and splitters. Again, Championship 4 marked on your ticker there. As looks like DeCiani will get by Johan Seminario. So trying to follow Lucas Hoisman up through the field. And Lucas will now try to make his way around Jason S. Taylor. But on screen, once again, we are looking at that battle I believe that's Alex Murray we're looking at, and Patrick Gitter continue to do battles. So Gitter desperately trying to get around the 22 machine so he can get up. But one thing, team championship wrapped up, Andre, but one thing we will have to keep an eye on and played a huge part in in 2021's championship was the teamwork. Look, teams come together. You do have teammates and partners in the league that maybe can, go alternate strategy to get track position on maybe one of your rivals, and maybe race them a little bit harder, hold them up to make your teammate strategy a little more beneficial. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. A lot of these guys, again, most of the teams are here in full force. So we have the Team Conti and EPI Alliance. So again, the likes of Gitter, DeCiani, Benefield, Dustin Hall, who we spoke to in pre-race. So they're all going for their man, DeCiani, who's currently in the championship. Again, you mentioned your team, the LMM boys, Loudmouth Motorsports. You got Robert Miller, who's up there in second. I'm sure his job will be to get to John Delaney as soon as he can, if he can, or jump him on strategy. And again, do what he can to hold him up to try to benefit Lucas Hoisman and see if he can wrap up this championship this evening. So that's something to watch for. We'll keep an eye on all that. But Delaney continues to extend that lead 3 seconds out on Robert Miller in 15. So leaving the field behind. So the man that won here in the spring has a certain dominance halfway through this stage as we work 37, going to lap 60 here in stage 1.
Yeah, teamwork definitely comes to play in these championship events. NASCAR, it is a team sport. But the thing is, you forget about that 95% of the time, because in the first 35 races, you're really not going to see drivers interacting as teammates. They really just see each other as competitors, because at the end of the day, look, I'm your teammate, we work under the same banner, but only one of us can take that check flag. Only one of us can win. But in this situation, where we're in the playoffs and a few of these drivers are eliminated, they're not in contention for the championship, well, now it's my teammate who's the only one who can win. So I got no choice but to really help him out. I mean, I guess I don't have to help him out. It is a choice, but you do see it a lot where, your Robert Millers, your Team Conti boys, they're going to do a little bit of teamwork. They're going to maybe hold up the competition if they can, and they're not going to outright manipulate the races.
Contact between the 41 and the 01 there, Andre. Sorry to cut you off, but hard battling, and this is what we're going to see coming on more. And Nolan Hodgson now dives underneath the 41 car of Taylor, trying to side draft him down into 3 and 4. So they'll go side by side. The 12 corn car trying to get around this 41. So he seems to be on a backwards trajectory. But Johan Seminario in the 01 was ready to move and said, "Thank you very much. I'll take that position." And off he will go in hunt of Matt DeCiani. So that was your position or your battle for 12th place. As we continue to see the battle side by side, Jason S. Taylor will not relent, trying to stake claim to that 13th position. But Nolan Hodgson is not going anywhere with the Jimmy Strong on the front of that machine. thank Nolan for supporting our memory here of Kobe. And it looks like he will finally take that position away. And now teammates will now be side by side. SOBJ, the first time we mentioned him tonight in the 21 CC O'Brien's Ford Mustang, and his teammate lets him go. So that will be your Apex Racing team there. Again, no contender in the championship. Team owner and driver Kevin Steele not in the house tonight. I believe Alex Van Sant is in the field. So those guys not racing for a championship or for the team title, but they have second place all wrapped up. Again, wanting to get that good finish out of for the team and good result for the team tonight. As we check back in on your leader, there he is, way out front. Again, 3.5 seconds. Although I will say, Andre, look, that lead has not, while we were watching the battles here, a little bit behind them, he has not extended that lead since Robert Miller has gotten around Andrew Dyson. So that bodes well. Again, we'll have the reset here on lap 60. As we have the lap times here pulled up on the screen for you, you can kind of see the deltas as we go on this long run. So lap 43 working to lap 60. So only a handful of only a handful of laps left in the stage. Robert Miller looks to possibly be on pace with Delaney. As I say that now, he's probably lost about a tenth, but very comparable speed. And that's going to play well into Hoytsman's hands, as we were just talking about with the teamwork. If Hoytsman can get his car situated, I would expect that they'd be running similar setups and as well, the 15 and the 07. So looking strong here tonight so far. As we check back in on Lewis Hoytsman, your contender, he is running in the 10th position, but kind of flanked by a couple cars, so having to do all he can to hold on to 11th spot. Stage points for the championship Ford do not matter tonight. It will be your best finisher, but for the rest of the field, again, vying for that top 25 in Tier 1 charter, they absolutely will be trying to get all the stage points they can this evening. So lap 45 through 3 and 4, we watch Hoytsman work on Big Car de Santa, Alex Van Sant.
The charter is going to be very valuable, obviously, for these drivers. Having a guaranteed starting position and even a few provisionals should they need it. It's a big thing to have a Tier 1 charter. And if these guys can finish in the top 25 and secure their charter, that's going to be a big help to the team. And, you mentioned Hoytsma and Bisiani kind of marred back in the field here, doing everything they can, just trying to hold on to position. They are struggling. Now, I don't know what kind of setup Bisiani's running, but I'll let you in on a little bit of a garage secret here, Demars. So
Let's go.
It seems like generally Robert Miller and Lucas Hoytsma tend to prefer slightly different setups. Now, I'm not saying completely different, but I know Robert will give Lucas a setup, and he'll say, nah, this isn't quite what I want. He'll make a little tweak here or there, and sometimes he makes it better than Robert's car, sometimes he makes it worse. And I think, unfortunately for Lucas, if things don't change, it's looking like he might have gone a little bit too far in the wrong direction, because he is not showing the pace that Robert has. And Robert, now about 4 seconds back from Delaney. What a disappointment it would be for Robert. It would be a bittersweet victory if he were to win here tonight, because again, heavy playoff contender, had to miss some races due to deployment, and when he came back, still has the speed, just no longer eligible. Life gets in the way, and sometimes things don't work out, but we'll have to wait and see. Dyson's still clinging on to third. He is just ahead of Heitman, who is really not far behind at all. This pack of cars right here is spearheaded by that 83 Adam Benefield. That's fifth on back. Championship contender Alex Murray there, second in line. Benefield again running a Jimmy Strong machine, as he always does here. One of the camera drivers as well. He's got that race use tire in the background. I like it. Getting fancy with it, but let's get the telestrator. So Carlos even getting fancy. We're just fancy all the way around.
Yep, there he is, the balding bullet himself, who completed the, we haven't talked about D2. So our feeder and support series that gets guys into the 100% Cup Series. We continue to ride on board with Adam Benefield here in the fifth position. But yet secured the D2 championship. So that championship, a little different than the NASCAR format we have here in the 100% Cup Series on the Saturday. So that runs through all 36 races, no playoff format, and he was able to secure that championship. He came into that race last night only 18 points ahead of Patrick Gitter, who you see on screen as they race together here in your positions of 68th or 69th here. But was able to secure that, and now we'll potentially get that iRock Season 4 invite. So we only invite the champions and winners of races of note from across the service. So that true iRock fashion as we used to do back in the day for all the NASCAR guys and the Dale Earnhardts, Mark Martins, and the Indy guys that will come and compete. So congratulations to Couldn't get it done here on Saturday. He's getting eliminated after the Roval for the 83 machine of Adam Benefield. But consolation prize was able to get that D2 championship and potentially the iRock invite. So good on him for finishing that out last night. So continue to watch this battle on screen. Again, lap 52, so only a handful of laps, 8 to go here in the stage for the guys. And we continue to watch Patrick Gitter, and there's Bobby Anderson, who another driver, again, I always say he's probably the quickest guy we have here without a race win, kind of our Lando Norris. So his time will come, and usually the lone Toyota, so holding down the fort for the TRD squad. And if you look at that manufacturer championship point standings, that's probably all, 90% of that is probably Bobby Anderson just racking off those top fives throughout the year. As Chevrolet did take the title and wrap that up after Martinsville, but on the charts, yeah, it's kind of Bobby. You got to get Toyota to get him some more support here in the series, but I'm sure he's wanting to see that. We check back in on the battle. So we're just looking at the charts here. It looks like about a tenth and a tenth and a half, maybe a little bit less. Delaney's continued to keep that advantage over Robert Miller, so that gap has continued to step out just a little bit. So for the first 60 laps, the guys will kind of see what they have. And you mentioned the difference in setups for Miller and Hoytsma. I remember talking to Robert Hoytsma after one of the races, and I think he said he preferred to drive off the right front, which caught me off guard at the time, because most of our fast guys will just default to driving off the right rear, want something a little bit more on the nose, and a little bit more rear rotation on the car. But he mentioned that he likes to get that rotation from the right front, and that's usually a limiting type of setup here at Phoenix. Again, you'll have to watch with the accelerations out of the turn. You'll wash up pretty easy. As we see Bobby Anderson at the end here of stage one, trying to take away that position from Patrick Gitter, and he will get the nose out in the front and should keep the momentum on the high side, but watch for the side drive. No, Patrick Gitter decides better of it, will fall back behind Bobby Anderson there, and that was your swap there for the 7th position. So Bobby Anderson on the move, showing some good long run speed as you work 56, work into lap 50. Only about 4 more laps here left in the stage.
Yeah, we are getting to the end of the stage, and I do want to go back to what you mentioned about Bobby Anderson. If you had told me that Bobby Anderson would get to Phoenix at the end of the year without a win under his belt, I would have called you crazy, because he has been so good. I mean, it seems like every time I've been in the booth here in 100% Cup Series this year, and a little bit of late last year, I believe, we're talking about Bobby Anderson. He's a top 10 contender, top 5 contender, and usually those guys get a win every now and again. They're in the catbird seat. Something happens in front. They swoop in. They take the lead. He's got the speed. He's got the consistency. It just seems like things have not worked out entirely in his favor. So if he doesn't get it here tonight, I'm still going to be keeping an eye on him next year, because he's kind of taken on the Mark Martin role. Just so good. Just hasn't quite got the win yet. We'll have to see when it does finally come. I don't think it's a matter of if, it is a matter of when for Bobby. Maybe that win is tonight, but 3 laps to go, more like 2.5 here in stage one. John Delaney has no competition out back. He just runs his line, hits his marks, turns some consistent, smooth laps. He's going to get this stage win, but as you mentioned there, Damaris, no stage points for the championship contenders. It is just the winner-take-all highest finisher at the end of the night. But it is a bit of a statement that, hey, I've got the best long-run car in the field, and we know he's also got a pretty good short-run car, too, because he did pull away pretty quickly. So it's going to be a tough thing for these drivers to get around Delaney. And Robert Miller starting to fade. I mean, it was 3.5 seconds for the longest time. I mean, upwards of 20 laps, the gap did not change. But in the last 10 or 15 laps, Delaney stepped out 2 more seconds. 5.2 seconds now, the difference. And I think you were exactly right, Damaris, when you said that it's because Robert does like to drive off the right front. When you wear the right front of the car to the viewers at home, the car is going to get tight. And when the car gets tight, there is quite literally nothing you can do to make it faster. It has a set limit on how fast it can take turns and how tight that turn radius is going to be. Whereas if you wear the right rear, the car gets loose. And it might be really difficult to drive, and it might not be as fast as fresh tires, but you can still make a loose car fast. It tends to be less limiting when you wear the right rear, which might be what Delaney is doing. That might be why he's so good. It's not just that he's conserving, it's that he's wearing the other tire. And there it is, the stage one green and white checkered flag. John Delaney takes it by 6 seconds, followed by Miller, Dyson, Heitman, Benefield, Murray, Anderson, Hoytsma, Gitter, and Matt DeCiani. Going to round out the top 10. And again, all 4 championship contenders within that top 10. Van de Sant just barely slipping through. It looked like he was going to be in the top 10, and then Isiani got around him. So Van de Sant, Seminario, O'Brien Jr., Hodgson, Taylor. And as we get the group bunched up, they're going to be coming down pit road, and I'm sure they're going to be taking tires. They got 8 sets total, so 7 on the other side of the wall, which should be enough to get them through the end of the night. Really no reason to be too choosy about when you take your tires, especially for the stage. I want to go back to a battle that we saw earlier in the race tomorrow. We saw Johan Seminario, the muscle man, fighting with the Jedi 41 machine. Now, Jason Taylor, he is a driver who does hold a grudge. If you race him hard, if you are aggressive with him, he won't forget that, and he's going to race you. He's going to make your life difficult. We'll put it that way. But the thing is, Johan is the same way. I've seen Johan across 3 or 4 different leagues now, and he's just like Jason Taylor, the memory of an elephant. So what happens when you have 2 drivers that are very aggressive and very vengeful, so to speak, and they're going door-to-door, door slamming? I think that's a story we're going to see a little bit more of later on.
Miller.
I think I saw in another Discord. Kind of censored here. I think it's we call that the the unstoppable idiot versus the immovable blank hole. I think I saw somewhere. So yeah, that's kind of the scenario. Look, when you got a memory like that, and look 9 months of racing, right? I know Johan Seminario, he hasn't run a full season, but it's been part-time here in 100% Cup Series, so hasn't tangled too much with everybody. But yeah, I mean, look, when you get those 2 kind of personalities, it's very easy to get frustrated over the course of 500 kilometers here we have tonight, man. So 312 laps. I'm sure he's going to hold on to that. And, you tend to be around the same guys unless some, tire strategy or, you're able to make adjustments. You tend to share the same piece of tarmac with the same driver. So not a whole lot of place you can hide. As you can see, look, we went caution-free that entire stage. So I'd expect more of the same as we go through stage 2.
Pillar, black flag.
And yep, as we got black flags here on the field. So I would expect that those 2 to come together. And look, Jason can get pretty riled up in the race. He typically comes down after the fact, but that's not going to help the 41 and the 01 as they do battle here, get ready to go in stage 2.
Yeah, the lights are still on the pace car, so I'm going to try to pull John in for just a moment, our stage winner. Have a quick word with him. Give me one moment. Mr. Delaney, you got a copy?
I do.
Well, John, I don't think you can do a stage much better than that. You went out there, you led just about, I think every single lap and walked out to a 5-second lead. Things are looking pretty good behind the wheel. How's it feel?
We're all right. I'm a little loose. Should have made an adjustment and I didn't, but that's all right.
You led every lap and it's just all right.
I mean, yeah. Whenever you're racing at high stakes like this, you always want the car to be better and faster. But yeah, car's all right. Could be better. Feels all right now, but the track's going to change when the race goes on. So just got to keep up with those track changes so we're fast at the end of the race.
Yeah, are you feeling pretty good about you're fighting to be the first 2-time champion in series history, John? Are you after that first good stage? Are you feeling like that's a possibility here?
Maybe. I'm not all sure what the other championship drivers have yet, but we'll see during this next few stages and laps here.
All right, 10-4.
We're going to be getting back to green. We'll put you with your team, John. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so John Delaney out of the booth. So, yep, calm, cool, collected. Andre is looking like he's the man to beat so far, but some shakeup on the pit strategy here. So he will not be on the front row. We are under control of Robert Miller in that 15 Altus eSports LMM machine. Back on the front row with the 04 of Andrew Dyson. So as they round, the pace car is off through 3 and 4 to the restart zone, and away we are. Robert Miller takes off. He will be able to get the jump here on the Ovo. It looks like a little bit of contact potentially there between 04 and the 15 as they duck down into the dogleg, but they will single file out, but double foul back around second place. As oh man, a great jump by John Delaney, I believe that is. So the 6 car was able to get back around through the dogleg, and now already trying to get on the gearbox of that 15 as we are still single file out a little bit back behind them, but the battle continues here into 3 and 4. So trying to get that good position and trying to get back out in the clean air as a 6 car working his way on the 04.
Yeah, I was going to say this is something that John's not had to do tonight, which is do some passing, but I mean, he pretty much just did it all in one swoop. He's only got one more car to try to get around. That is going to be Robert Miller. He gets clear of Dyson just barely. and now he is going to be sitting in second place overall for the race, but we're still the first among the championship contenders. And I'm curious to see how aggressive he gets with Robert Miller here, because obviously he doesn't have to win the race, but if you can put another car between you and the guy that you're fighting for the championship, you're going to do that. I mean, John isn't going to be content and say, well, I don't have to win, so I'm just going to ride around in second. That's not John. That's never been John. It never will be John. So, especially when you consider the fact that, going back to what you said, Damaris, Robert Miller's in a position right now where he could potentially try and take John's line away, slow him up enough for Hoytsma to try to get up there. Hoytsma's running P6. He's right behind Alex Murray. And if Robert Miller wanted to get aggressive with it and really start taking away the sixes line, that could completely change the picture of this race, and Delaney knows that. So I think he's going to have to get a little bit aggressive when it comes to getting around Robert. But I think if he does get around him, it's going to come here in a number of laps. I think it's going to be once the tire wear sets in and Robert Miller's car starts to fade, unless he made some sort of adjustment to correct that long run speed loss that he had. I think that's where Delaney's going to have the advantage. But a bit of a blunder there by the 07. I think he might have maybe made a little contact. Again, I'm looking at a virtual boy.
I think they had enough room, but yeah, side by side, that 22 and 07, as you're mentioning there. So championship contenders here, again, you can see who those are on the left side of your ticker and the scroll across the top. They are highlighted in the various colors of their choosing that they chose in pre-race. So Hoytsma and Murray doing battle here in 5th and 6th. So, but as you're saying, you know, I think, honestly, a big brain strat that probably could be done here if you're Delaney's crew chief or Delaney in the car is you're right. He has not been behind cars. He has not had to pass folks all race long, right? He led almost every lap or every lap in that stage 1. So all 60 of those laps, if you are on board with Alex Murray there and also on the webcams, you can kind of see his driving style, very smooth, not a whole lot of sawing on the wheel. Of course, as I do that, there's a little bit of a jerk there, but very laid back, calm, collected, focused look on the face there of Alex Murray. But yeah, look, John Delaney has not had to follow a car, so he might be taking this opportunity. Look, he stepped out about 6 seconds over the course of 60 laps, so he knows the pace is strong tonight, right? He's also needs to see what Robert Miller potentially has in case it does come down to him having to win this race to get the championship. So maybe doing a little bit more learning here with the car to see how it does react in case he does find himself back in traffic later on in this race. He has to make a recovery drive of sorts. So Miller leading, John Delaney right behind him, Dyson holding down 3rd, Heitman in 4th. Interesting note that I also wanted to mention here, stage 1, Heitman, who again should be typically running the same equipment as Alex Murray, having a little better run here than the 22 car. So Boss Man is a little bit behind as his driver is running in 4th, and I think he ran in front of him as well in stage 1. So that'll be another thing to keep an eye on. So similar to the Hoytsma and Robert Miller situation there on that team with Prodigy eSports. So that's your 4th and 5th spot, or 4th and 6th spots there for Prodigy. But yeah, these guys maybe a little bit of learning going on for that 6th car of John Delaney as we work lap 74.
You know, I think maybe for LMM and for Matt DeCiani, or not Matt DeCiani, for Heitzman and Murray, I think they need to do a bit of a Formula E car swap next time they come down pit road. Get the championship contenders in a better car. I don't know, but we do seem to
get the wraps out, swap some numbers on those cars, right?
Yeah, we'll just, put some electrical tape over the number. We'll fudge the numbers. We'll make it work. We'll figure out the transponder digitally and everything. But no, it seems like the non-championship contenders are just a little bit quicker amongst the teams right now, save for Delaney for Apex. And maybe it's because those guys don't have as much to lose. There's less nerves, less pressure, so they know they can just go out here, turn laps, have a good time. And I don't know about you, Damaris, but generally when I'm in a good mood, when I have nothing to lose, I'm generally a little bit quicker. So that could be a big factor there as well.
Yeah, less stress. And hey, not to look now, but what we talked about in that stage break, if we look a bit further in the field, Carlos, the 01 and the 41 are nose to tail again. So let's, like we were talking about, these guys find themselves at the start of the stage, nose to tail. So we'll keep an eye on that to see if anything comes of Seminario and Taylor getting together here, but seem to be about the same pace in the field here as we ride on board with Johan. So also one of our camera drivers here as we look back at that machine of Jason S. Taylor. So Jedi Taylor doing battle here, and this is for your 13th spot here that these two are racing for. So again, back in the tire save mode, you got to take care of them for the first 15 to 20 before you can really get racing. But a little bit of support too, as you can see just behind the 41 is that 24 of SOBJ, so Sean O'Brien Jr. So it's kind of 2-on-1 here for Johan Seminario. So not affiliated with the team this season, but has announced that he intends to sign in race 4 Team Conti next season, because we have a slew of driver retirements. So Kyle Ammon will be going to a part-time schedule next year, currently racing for Team Conti. So they have made the acquisition of the 01 and his intent to replace the 25 car next year on that team, who came in, and I think he won his first D2 races, as we look on board here with Kyle Ammon. So saying goodbye to full-time racing as we're following, I think that's the one machine who's currently behind there. Dustin Hall is following in the Jimmy Strong #1 Chevrolet. But yeah, he'll be saying goodbye to full-time competition earlier this year, and they've acquired the services of Johan Seminario. So working lap 80, again, single filed out, tire save mode in. It may look like, it may look like not a lot is happening, but it's still high tension on the wheels. The guys in the race cars, you can see the lean by Kyle Ammon. A lot of focus being applied as you don't want to lose any spots. It's very hard to pass here when you're in this tire save mode, right? You're kind of following the car in front of you, managing the dirty air. But any mistake, if you get on the throttle a little bit too early, slide up the racetrack, maybe miss the bottom of the apex, you set yourself up to get freight trained by 2 to 3 cars behind you. So that's what all these guys will be focusing on currently here in the Hump Cup Series. Here again, we welcome you out. We got about 24 viewers here in the YouTube chat, so thank you for joining us here on the stream as we are on Championship Saturday. Again, remembering the life of Coben James Johnson, and looks like Nightbot has not posted in the stream, so hopefully we'll get some automated messages. Well, if you want to learn more about Coben, we'll get some links in the chat for you. But also, if you're watching, you're enjoying the show, please give us a like. It helps the stream and can get some notoriety. If you're here supporting the driver, let us know in the chat as well who you're here rooting for, and we can maybe give them some camera time, even maybe get them for an interview if we get some cautious here later on in the day. But working lap 82, not a lot has changed. Robert Miller continues to lead, half a tenth in front, or 6/10 in front of John Delaney up front. Dyson holds down your third place. Hoistman fourth, and Derek Heitman continues to round out in the top 5. We continue to see guys brush up against that wall, and that's what we're talking about, getting a little tight, trying to manage those tires. It looks like that wall and that safety barrier may catch somebody out here a little bit later on, Joe.
Absolutely. And also to the viewers at home, maybe just tuning in now, as it is the Coben Johnson Championship race, we do have Coben's mom still hanging out in the booth with us. Callie is watching the race, hanging out. And if you're still on the mic here, Callie, how's the race been so far? How are you enjoying it?
It's been fun. It's been good to watch. They've been keeping it pretty clean, and looks like a pretty good time. All 4 championship contenders are in the top 10, so that's been fun to watch.
And Dustin, of course, still doing pretty well there. He's in 18th currently, and only 6 seconds back. He's got a gaggle of cars ahead of him, so definitely got an opportunity to pick up some more position here and work his way a little bit forward, and also on the driver cam as well, which, again, shout out to Carlos for getting that set up and being able to just ever increase the quality of these broadcasts week after week. He does a phenomenal job of bringing all the action to TVs and computers. But so far, like you said there, Mars.
Yeah, I'm gonna wave to the screen there for Dustin.
he's watching the broadcast.
Thinking about racing one of these minutes.
Absolutely. But as you were saying there, Damaris, not a whole lot of separation. So, you make one mistake and you do run the risk of getting the freight train. A lot of cars getting around. I mean, look at this timing and scoring. First through 18th, less than 6 seconds apart. Well, 7 seconds now, but, really not seeing a lot of separation, which is kind of unique. Sometimes Phoenix kind of provides the type of racing where some drivers just step out and run away with it, and that's not really happening here tonight. And speaking of not stepping away, Robert Miller, as long as this stage has gone on, has not gotten away from John Delaney, at least not entirely. He's still 0.6 seconds from Miller to Delaney, so under a second is the gap. And remember, in the first stage, Delaney did have a slightly better long-run car, so if we're going off historical precedent, we're expecting Delaney to close in even more. Andrew Dyson only about a second back there in third. Hoytsman's moved all the way up to fourth, so now he is currently second in the championship. He got around Murray, got around Heitman, and again, how much of this is because Miller maybe is putting Delaney in dirty air, taking away his line. It is the balancing act that you have to play, Mars, because you can build a car that is a rocket ship in clean air, that is just the fastest thing on planet Earth, but the faster you make it in clean air, generally, the worse it's going to be when you got somebody in front of you, and that could be what's hindering Delaney right now.
Yeah, again, that question we'll find out a little bit later. Time will tell. Is it just a little bit of recon going on with Delaney, or is Robert Miller, has he, maybe the clean air given the advantage to him that John Delaney had in stage one, and starting just a little bit to separate out. So for a long time, that length of the lead was about 6/10. It has finally stepped out to almost a second, so 3 more tenths in the last few laps here by the 15 of Robert Miller in that LMM Altus eSports machine. So I will say too, also on the lap charts, they were matching lap times. So running 28.0s for the last few laps prior to the last 2 laps we just completed. So I think 89 and 90, 88 and 89. And now I'm starting to see Robert Miller dip into the 27s. So maybe going a little faster by a tenth or so here. So maybe starting to step in a little bit as we see a battle on screen there. As we can see, the Adam Benefield getting around the Alex Murray machine. So another playoff driver losing a spot, so backwards, or maybe forward. The 83 is going and sending the 22 backwards. So he will slip down. But again, our championship 4 all in the top 10. So all to play for here is to go back on board with Alex Murray, who is following that Jimmy Strong 83 as we go through 1 and 2. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Andre, it'd be interesting to see what's actually happening with the 6 car. He said he meant to make an adjustment, so maybe the track is going away from him just a little bit. Obviously, yep, dirty air will have played a part in that as well. But the clean air also will be to the benefit of Robert Miller. So maybe a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B to see who has the measure here. But John Delaney right now still doing everything he needs to do to secure his 2nd championship and go back to back as he leads his 3 championship 4 competitors. So Hoytsma back and forth. Murray back in, looks like the 7th position, and DeCiani is running in your 10th place. So doing everything he needs to do here on Championship Saturday to secure that championship.
Crashing to the garage.
Yeah. Oh, go
10
ahead,
laps
Callie.
ago.
Hey guys, let's look at Benefield for a second. Look at that paint job. Let's talk about how they chose gold, both Dustin and Benefield. So that gold is for childhood cancer awareness. So just so that you guys are aware, that's the reason there's gold on those cars instead of red or black or whatever other color they might choose. Childhood cancer awareness's color is gold. So we go gold typically in September. That's for childhood cancer.
Absolutely, and it is it's a noble cause. And Dustin was talking pre-race about how underfunded it is, and I agree. Now, it's tough to really put into words. I mean, obviously, you want every cause of that nature to be funded, to be researched, but it seems like sometimes some causes get a little bit more limelight, some causes get a little bit more exposure. And honestly, Callie, I didn't know that gold was the color for that. I legitimately did not know, because it just doesn't quite get the coverage. So that's another reason that doing this race is
Childhood
important.
cancer didn't even have a month until 2012. So that we're making some noise, we're raising some awareness. You guys are doing your part, and I'm so grateful. Childhood cancer has gotten 4% of all federal funding for many, many years, and 4% just isn't enough for our kids. In this last couple of years, that's gone up a little bit. I read somewhere today that is 9.5% in 2022. I don't know if that's accurate or not. My guess would be that that's a little exaggerated. But any little bit that we can get, we're super grateful for. 4% just isn't enough. Not only have we only gotten 4% for many, many years, there's only been 3 drugs that have been developed and approved for childhood cancer in the last 3 decades. So they're really, really underfunded and under researched. There's nothing out there trying to make them save these kids. There's just very little. Any progress we've made has come from research for adult cancers. All of Coben's treatments were adult treatments, and the most recently developed drug that Coben took was developed in 1986, and the one he took the most of was developed in 1959. So the treatment's almost worse than the cure. It's just a really sad situation, and raising awareness is a big, big deal. So what you guys are doing here is amazing, and we're grateful for it.
Yeah, and we, as Andre said, I learned a lot about, cancer affects most families, especially here in America. But I learned a lot I was just as shocked, Callie, as you kind of took up that charge as you met more families that were affected like you. So I followed a lot of that story. Again, the GoFundMe with the updates from the family, specifically of Coben, who obviously we're celebrating today. But again, yeah, it affects a large number of folks. So rhabdomyosarcoma, I think I'm saying that right.
You are.
Affects a lot of children. I mean, if you just do a Google search, and you'll find that, from the big people you would expect, the St. Jude's and the childhood organizations, affects a lot of kids. And as you're right, you don't know what you don't know. And I've learned quite a bit with the funding situation with childhood cancer. Again, our community does our little part, but look, every bit helps. So thank you for continuing. Obviously, your life was tremendously impacted, but you've continued to fight and to try to help other families that find themselves in similar situations and fighting that good fight. So I'd also just like to shout out. I've also followed. So you have the Instagram of Coben's Shades of Gold, which you also you put out some of that information of childhood cancer, how to support, and kind of what the state is. So for all those watching today, if you want to go give that a follow as well, again to do your part to support the fight against childhood cancer, spread awareness, but also again we're here to celebrate the life of that remarkable young man, son here at Coben. So yeah, gold. The color of that is you see not only Adam Benefield, but the number 1 of Dustin Hall again is white and gold as well for that reason. So you'll probably see some gold ribbons as well on some of the cars of the guys that were able to get some of the painters and the wraps put on the cars today. So it's lots of gold, but yeah, as you said,
Coming back to this race, DeCiani is up to 9th, so we're all 4 in the top 9 now. Murray's dropping back though.
Yeah, that's my pick. My boy's starting to put the lap times down here, so maybe he can figure it out. A little bit of a gap though still, but yeah, top 4, championship 4, still in the top 10. And Miller though, as we go back to that lead battle, is putting Vincent on John Delaney. So maybe not a win on the cards here for the fast man in the 6 machine. Maybe Robert Miller is coming to state his intent that, although he missed out on the playoffs due to employment, and we thank him for his service. It's actually kind of, I guess it's funny that it seems like every time we get playoff time, Andre, that he has a deployment. So I think in a couple of years ago it was Ukraine, and then this year obviously the stuff that was happening in the Middle East, and he was deployed to deal with that as well. So it seems like just bad luck when the playoffs roll around and fall. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the geopolitics always kick off and have kept Robert Miller out of the championship for one of these years. He is definitely a strong contender to win the championship. If he can just make it to all the races, and maybe all the world leaders can calm down. But we continue to watch him step away 2.3 out front of John Delaney.
So we're saying that for Robert Miller to win a championship, it would require attaining world peace. Is that what I'm understanding?
goodness,
That's exactly what world peace is exactly what it would take.
Okay, so he's never going to get championship. Understood.
Hey now. We're thinking positive today. We're hoping for it.
Yeah, absolutely we are hoping for it, and obviously our thoughts and prayers do go to anybody impacted by any of the current conflicts. And ultimately, it's up to us just to kind of try to make the world a better place, little by little, piece by piece. I don't think any of us are going to go out and make a difference on our own, but educating people and doing little things here and there, and especially what you're doing, Callie. And I wouldn't call what you're doing little. What you're doing is huge. You're educating so many people. Like I said, I didn't even know that gold was the color for that particular cause. I didn't know that September was the month for that, but now I am aware. And knowing... Go ahead.
We'd like to see gold get as big as pink, That's
Yes.
nothing against breast cancer, but breast cancer now gets 38% of funding. So we want to do the same thing. We want to see childhood cancer become just as important. I mean, here, just in the United States, we lose 1,600 kids a year. That's not okay. That's just not okay. So we got to do something. We've got to raise some awareness. We've got to be loud, and we need to wear that gold and post that gold and put that gold on these race cars. And so I'm beyond grateful again for all of you guys and all of your support. But also, I'm asking you, September, reach out there, get loud, wear your gold, support us, make it known, tell your friends. The more people that know, the more gold we get, the more awareness we raise. So a lot of kids, it's hard with kids. Kids are stage 4 before the parents know it. Teenagers quit telling their parents, right? Oh, I have this weird bump. Oh, my foot hurts. Oh, something's weird, right? They quit telling their parents. They're teenagers. Kids, you quit bathing your kids when they're what, 5? They bathe themselves. You quit seeing those weird things. There's, they get a lump, you don't know about it. So we've got to raise awareness, not only with adults, but with kids too. They've got to know when it's a problem, when something needs to be looked at, talked about.
We can all do our part. Show the gold, wear the gold, post the gold, and if you want to take it a step further, write some letters. Call some people in your local office and ask some of these people, why is the funding not what it should be? Why are the resources so drastically misaligned? There's a problem here. It needs to be fixed, and I think if we reach out to the right people, we can make a difference. And all it takes is a little bit of awareness. So again, thank you so much, Callie, for doing what you're doing and for continuing to fight on. I can't imagine how difficult it is to continue to raise awareness and to go through everything you've gone through. But I do know that you and your family, I didn't know Coben, not personally, but think about him a lot. And I think about everything that you and your family are doing and everything Dustin does. And it has impacted me, all the way across the country, some random person on a racing video game. So you're doing good work, and I just hope you keep doing it.
I appreciate it.
What are some things that we got, again, doing our bit? We got 20 or so people here watching today. And again, I as Andre said, a lot of this came back to me last year, right? Just kind of, watching what your family's going through. But where can people go to see or find out more about childhood cancer or support, or so they can get loud, so they can start to spread that awareness, and hopefully we get some momentum. And make that goal as big as pink, right? It's everyone, the NFL, the large organizations, or again, breast cancer affects a lot of people too. We're not
absolutely.
Cancer sucks, right? But
cancer sucks.
Cancer,
all around.
Where can people go to support or find out more, or kind of contribute to that fight?
So there's quite a few places you can contribute. St. Jude's is an amazing place to donate. They do a ton of research. And speaking specifically of rhabdomyosarcoma, they may have made some great advancements just in the last couple of months. It's obviously not, it's got to be researched for a long time before they'll try things out, but they've figured out that there's a type of cell in Coben's type of cancer that they can't kill, and it comes back, and that's what makes it always relapse. And they've figured out a way that maybe they can kill that cell. And so that's huge. But to give you an example, Coben wanted to donate his tumors when he passed away. That was the one request he had. Can I please donate my tumors so they can research them? There was nowhere that could take them. They didn't have the funding to take them, and they didn't have any research studies that they could do because they didn't have the funding for that either. So even when this rare form of cancer can be researched, without the funding, nothing can be done. So St. Jude's is a great place. Speaking out to the National Cancer Institute, to our senators, our congressmen, anybody you can get to listen to you is a huge place to go. The American Childhood Cancer Organization, ACCO, is a great place to donate as well. They do a lot of cancer research for children. Cancer is the #1 leading cause of death, a disease in children. And so we have to do something, and the best we can do is just to be as loud as we can, talk about it, get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So those in attendance, and I'll definitely again do more of my own research, but that's where you can go to again, find out more about childhood cancer and support. And thank you, Carlos. I see that you've changed the ticker there to the gold color. So appreciate you for that as we try to represent again, celebrating Coben. And again, thank you, Callie, for that information and being here. And again, I know it's a rough time of year for you, but we will check back in on the race here real quick. Not a lot of change up front. Miller is continuing to step away a little bit here from John Delaney. Hoytsma, Dyson, Heitman, and Benefield, or Heitman to wrap out your top 5. Again, we're going to lap 165, I believe,
85.
here in stage 2. Oh, excuse me, 185 here in stage 2. So there should be a pit stop we would expect in this stage. A little bit longer here than our last stage, so we might see some pit stops happening here at some point. 8 sets of tires here for the folks, for all the drivers, so shouldn't come down to any tire saving. Again, we've been pretty green here. No cautions for cause yet here in the championship race, so we're making some good time here on the track. But battles are starting to break out again. So similar to stage one, we're starting to pair off into these, 1, 2, 3, and 4 car battles on track as we check in on the rest of the field. Got a couple comments in the chat, so we want to acknowledge those. We see that that Callie is here for Dolan, as always. So good to see you again here in the chat, Callie, for the 12 machine of Nolan Hodgson, currently running in your, I believe that is the 12th position that he's running in right now. So about 14 seconds back of the leader. So he's mired in that mid-pack right now. See, we got DP in the chat. So DP, I got to get some more paints from you, man, and get some more of my Jimmy cars. They updated the template on me, so I've been kind of running my USPS car, but we'll get some more. We'll get some more Jimmy paints for you, man. Hopefully, I get back in the car pretty soon here in the official sessions. But dropping some more information there on childhood cancers, 38%.
About breast cancer. Breast cancer gets 38% of funding, and it's 98% survival rate if it's found early. Children cancer has actually gotten a lot better. They have an 85% survival rate overall. That's largely due to the leukemia.
Am I still here, guys?
Yep. Back.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that Callie? Yeah. Sorry, Callie broke out there just a little bit. But giving some more context to the numbers there, the donation rate for breast cancer and the survival rate. So Callie, if you can, we're breaking up a little bit, so we'll come back to you here in a second. Just check back in on the YouTube chat. We got Haley here as well, so I believe that is, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's Alex Murray's fiance in the chat. As pit stops are underway, the guy coming down pit road, I believe that is Andrew Dyson here on pit road on lap 124. So here we are. Looks like a strategy is to split the stage about in half here is what we're seeing on screens. We go to 3-wide multicam to keep an eye on those pit stops battles. So money stops are underway. Remembering the guys have to get slowed down there into 1 and 2 to get on the pit road. I believe it's 45 miles an hour tonight on the pit road service, so you have to get a load down. It's not as hard to get onto as we saw with Homestead Miami, but you do have to get it slowed down in time to not get a black flag or penalties here to not mess up the run. As I hear Nolan Hodgson in the 12 car now calling out, so he'll be coming down pit road here in a second. But all the cars are coming down. So Andrew Dyson has brought all the folks down pit road. Miller continues to stay out. Delaney continues to stay out. Hoytsma as well. So maybe banking on perhaps a caution coming out. But look, these guys up front have a little bit of time to play for. As we also see, Heitman was on pit road. He's now rolling off his pit stall. So, but the guys up front, they have they had a 10 to 15 second lead on the midfield. Is again that gold and black Jimmy Strong car of the 83 out of midfield. He's now on pit road. But the guys up front had about 15 seconds to play with, so they don't have to react right away. They can continue to run. I expect that fall off to be about a second on new tires. So they have potentially another 12 to 15 laps that they can keep going before they have to actually respond to the cars behind them. So we'll keep an eye on that as green flag cycles continue underway. As now we see Kyle Ammon now on pit road. I will say real quick though, before I turn over to you, Andre, is it is not a hard pit road to get onto, but if you're on the curve of the pit road, because you have to stay to the right, it is hard to see, and we may see a driver or two miss or overshoot their stall just because it's hard to see through that A post as you're kind of looking to the left to try to hit your box.
Yeah, I was going to mention, this is one of the few times where I think the equipment that you race with makes a very big difference. If you have triple monitors or you have a curved monitor and you can kind of see to the left and see past that A post, oh, there we go. Speak of the devil and he shall come. There to marks, we have a driver going past your stall. But if you have triple monitors, it's a little bit easier on the bend. If you're a driver like me, you got a single monitor, it is havoc trying to get down into that stall on the bend because you're exactly right. The A-post blocks it a lot, and it can be difficult. So there goes 07 out and away from his stall. He may have been the driver that overshot it. Again, I couldn't quite make it out. But here comes John Delaney out of pit road, I believe, making his entrance onto pit road. So he'll be making his stop, and that'll be the final of the playoff contenders. He stayed out a little bit longer, maybe just planning to take a little bit of an overcut here, see how that works out. Miller's still leading the way. He has not come down pit road, so he's really trying to run that gas tank dry. Of course, he will have to pit. There's no chance that anybody's making it to the end of this, so we're just waiting for when. Dustin Hall also among those taking the long run strategy. He is currently P2 by virtue of the pit strategy. Pulling the Cody Bird, a couple of drivers out front. Jonathan Delaney getting overtaken by Jason Taylor now. So field jumbling up, but if these drivers have any solace here tomorrow, it's that no cautions for cause. So the likelihood of getting trapped a lap down here probably not very high for these guys.
Yeah, but one thing that will tick up is now that you have guys on different tire strategies. So you're going to have comers and goers. You're going to have a difference of pace all around the track. So especially getting into the center of the turn. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4. As we're still on 3 wide multicam and see Dustin Hall here, who has stayed out. He inherits the lead here, so he will get some laps in that white and gold Jimmy Strong car. So good to see Dustin out front and lead some laps, although he will pay the price for staying out here once he comes down pit road. But no bonus points here tonight, but get a little bit of TV time here for Dustin Hall. But yeah, what that does do is it's going to create some tension on track, right? As we wait for everybody to cycle out, you're going to have guys that are going much faster in the corners, and that's opportunity for cautious for cause, right? And once you get one caution, I mean, we all know the saying, right? You know what they breed, so that could throw a wrench in a lot of a guy's races here. But we continue to wait for it all to cycle out. So we're here on lap 132. Looks like that pit stop's got underway around 124. We saw cars coming down, so Robert Miller has continued to stay out, I believe. Jason S. Taylor has not come down pit road as well, and I think that will be all of the guys that have stayed out so far. So I think Delaney we saw down pit road already. Heitman, Dyson, Benefield, Hoytsma, all the pitting. So it looks like we're almost complete with the pit cycle, with the exception of the few guys that are out front.
And how about this, staying out a little bit longer than the rest of the field? Dustin Hall in that gold Jimmy Strong Chevrolet. He's going to lead some laps in that number 1. He's going to lead those laps for Coben. He's getting a few on the board. Love to see it. Of course, it was not too long ago we saw Jimmy Strong car take the championship itself with Adam Benefield in that 83. And wonderful moment that was. So he's finally going to make his way down pit road, I believe, maybe next time. I would think they're getting pretty low on fuel. Again, lap 60 was the stage caution, so about 61, 62 is where they took fuel, and it has been quite a ways since then. So don't expect too many drivers to come out and stay too long. But Jonathan Delaney cycles out 3rd. Robert Miller is going to be 2nd. So when Dustin Hall finally does pit, that is going to give the lead back to Miller, and it's going to be about a 4-second gap from Miller to Delaney. And from there, it looks like Derek Heitman is actually going to cycle out 3rd once Jason Taylor pits, which is interesting and really interesting to see. Heitman is not far behind Delaney. He must have taken a little bit of an undercut there, gained some time. But he's been kind of a sleeper pick tonight. He's been consistently top 5, showing some really good speed, and maybe now doing a little bit of alternate strategy compared to the rest of the field. That'd be fun to watch play out. But Dustin Hall continuing to stay out in that gold Jimmy Strong Chevrolet, still leading laps, doing a good job.
Yeah, and while the guys here, and some more battles. So Taylor is now being overtaken by several cars there in the back. You saw him go high as Benefield went around him. So feeling the effects. So you see the difference there on the fresh tires as he continues to slide backwards. I will say, look, Dustin Hall's doing a great job here of holding his position. I mean, they're coming up on him in a hurry, but as we see the other car that stayed out falling back so much. I mean, Taylor's just straight out struggling here. So Hall's doing a great job to keep that car out front. Again, for the TV time, again, he's going to fall back in the field once he decides to pit. But keeping an eye here, too, on Delaney and Miller. See how close they are on track. Looks like they are fairly close. If I'm seeing that on, is that who I'm watching? Oh, I'm watching it. I'm sorry. This is Benefield and Benefield that was on top of the 3-wide multi-cam TV here. But as we cut back in the field to just the teleprompter, Carlos going crazy on the teleprompter there. I believe this is Robert Miller we're watching here. Yes, it is. The Altus eSports. There we go. The color comes back as he is going to overtake Dustin Hall here for the lead. So this is for position as we watch number 1 go backwards. So Robert Miller will re-inherit the lead here and 3 seconds out on John Delaney. So he has continued to extend that lead on the 6 car. But again, Championship Saturday, John Delaney right now doing everything he needs to do to secure this championship. His next rival in Championship 4, Lucas Hoytsma, is all the way back in that 7th position, about 3 seconds behind him. So unable to really make an impression or make his way forward. It's been about the same spot all race. So it looks like maybe we'll see if an adjustment has been made to try to find that last couple tenths of speed. And, you know, we've seen this play out over the course of these 60-lap, 40-lap runs here, Andre. I will say that just looking at the lap times, I mean, when these guys are running peak, I mean, they're only about a tenth or so separating the top 8 or so. But just that little bit over that course of time, and you see these gaps start to form where, you know, a tenth here, a tenth there will turn into 3.5 seconds over the course of a mid-run.
Oh, absolutely. When we stay green over the course of these longer runs, if you're missing just a little bit each lap, it may be an unnoticeable amount of time loss each and every lap, but it adds up. And it kind of goes back to, I remember very specifically something that Dustin Hall mentioned at Road America last year. Not Road America, I'm sorry, COTA, Circuit of the Americas. He was talking about his teammate Nick Ottinger, saying, you know, when I watch his lap time, when I watch him drive that car, it doesn't look like he's doing anything different than me. It doesn't look like he's going any faster in any of these corners, but what it is it's just little hundredths of a second in each and every corner. A little bit here, a little bit there. You can't see it with the human eye, but it'll show up on that timing and scoring after a few laps. So, you know, it does. It really adds up. You're exactly right about that, Mars.
Yeah, and a question, CDP in the chat of what's on Dustin's hood there on that one machine. So obviously has the gold Jimmy Strong ribbon across the front, but in that little yellow bubble that you see above that, it just has Coben Johnson and has the date he passed away last year, so October 26, and just says never forgotten with the Jimmy Strong hashtag. So that's what's on that little yellow bubble there. Again, this is Championship Saturday here in 100% Cup Series, the Coben Johnson Championship. We are remembering the life of that remarkable young man of Coben, who again we lost to childhood cancer last year, and Callie in the booth with us and the family joining us here in the stream as well. So just remembering him, but that is, you'll see the Jimmy Strong ribbons adorned on most of the cars. We have the 83 and the one car that are all decked out in the Jimmy Strong theme. So, but that's what's on front of his cars. We continue to watch the race here play out.
We also, I hate to cut you off, we also have on the hood of the 07, who the 07 does have Jimmy Strong stickers on the car, but on the hood of that 07, he does have an image of Caramel, or Carmel, I don't know how he pronounced their name, but it says 2007 to 2023.
Yep, so that's on the hood of the 07 machine. Again, he's running in up to 5th position. So some change here is Dustin Hall has finally brought his machine down to the attention of his pit crew. So back to the back he will go. He probably will also lose a lap, I would expect, here as they come back around to get Dustin Hall. But again, he'll have the fresh tires, so he'll start to make his way back to the rear of the field and up through the pack. As we continue to watch here on screen, we got Adam Benefield battling here with, I believe that's Derek Heitman. So this is your battle for 3rd place with Hoytsma starting to make some ground on the cars in front of him. So maybe he is a little bit of giddy up here on the 07 and ready to make a challenge for everyone else. One of the big losers here on the pit cycle is we saw Dyson running up in that 3rd position for a long time. So he's back. He is back to your 6th spot as well. So he has lost a little bit here as they go side by side. Adam looking high, seeing if he can get some momentum here on Benefield behind him. Sorry, that's Heitman is now behind Adam Benefield, so he is in 3rd position at this time. So working lap 149, again, the end of stage 2. Your green and white checker will fly at the end of lap 185, so that's where we're going now. Green flag pit stops have completed. The field is cycle out, and this is how we run. Miller, Delaney, Benefield, Heitman, and Hoytsma round out your top 5. Again, your championship 4 competitors. Delaney is leading that race, so it's a winner-take-all here at Phoenix, just like Full Metal NASCAR. The full length is going to lap 312 total here tonight. Delaney, again, continuing to lead, but Lucas Hoytsma starting to make ground here on lap 150.
He is closing in a little bit here and there, and going back to Benefield, if the 100% Cup Series had a where did he come from Harvick type driver, it's got to be Adam Benefield, right? I mean, we didn't hardly mention him in terms of pace for the first 100 laps of the race. I mean, we talked about where he qualified. We showed his paint scheme. He's a little bit further back in the pack. All of a sudden, through some pretty good strategy and a little bit of speed behind the wheel, he's on the podium. So, no stranger to victory lane here either. So, I mean, he's going to be a contender. It's just crazy how much progress he's made coming up through the field. And you got to ask, where did he come from?
Yeah, you get a lot of those guys. Again, the full-length race, a lot can change, right? Not your typical, for those that are watching, familiar with the sim, not your typical A-Open or public lobby or official lobby experience, right? We do the whole thing. And it's very, it's crazy how a lot of the real-life NASCAR strategies will play out in the sim. Everything was not modeled perfectly. Again, we got some issues here with the tire. iRacing announced with a development update in the last week or so that the oval refresh is coming. They'll be doing that piece by piece to get us more like what they have in the real world. So the way tires work, the way the track evolution works and multi-groove racing. So that will be coming. And we're looking forward to that for sure. But even without all that, it's amazing how much the real life, whether it's team politics and competition between the teams and the setup shops and the manufacturers here and kind of in the virtual world, to the personnel moves and free agency and the driver moves and signings that are going to be in silly season for guys trying to prepare for next year. As we see Lucas Hoisman go underneath Derek Heitman here. So doing battle here in 3 and 4, trying to take that position away, as this is your fight for that 4th spot. And Hoisman continues his charge forward on the fresh tires. So definitely not doing the tire save that we saw earlier. The 07 on the move as he's drawn ever closer. And more importantly, trying to draw closer to John Delaney, who is currently running in your 2nd position from Robert Miller, who is in the lead. So more battling on track there. But yeah, as I was saying, a lot of this stuff kind of plays out the same way or similar ways in the league. The rivalries that form, the allyships that form, all that good stuff. You kind of get to see a little bit of all that. Even our fans here. So thanks everyone for tuning in for Championship Saturday here. We're in the finale. This is what we've been getting to for 9 months. It all comes down to this, your Championship 4, who you can again see on the left side of your ticker and scrolling up top, highlighted in the color. So you see where they run. Delaney in 2nd, Hoytsman 4th on the move. Murray unable to really make up ground and kind of lost some spots there on the pit cycle in the 22 machine. So that Project eSports driver not having the day that he wants, currently 3rd in the standings as they run. And Matt DiCiani looks like he's been stuck in 10th all race long, so unable to make huge gains there. But again, fresh set of tires and about 30 or so more laps as we're working the lap 185 here at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, we have just under 30 to go in stage 2, and it's going to be the last chance for a reset. If you're DiCiani, if you're Alex Murray, and you haven't been up there leading laps, and it looks like Delaney's kind of leaving you in the dust, you have one more chance, one more guaranteed opportunity to make some adjustments, be it tire pressure or whatever else, and get the field bunched back up and try again. Other than that, you're kind of at the mercy of what the field do. Is into the wall a little bit there goes somebody,
Jedi
Schofield, Jedi Taylor into the wall a little bit. Oh man, look at who's behind him. Not far. It's going to be on Mario as well, but once that caution comes out, it's going to be pretty much a race to the end. No cautions for Kaz thus far, and again, not really looking likely that we're going to get one, but we'll have to wait and see. 5 seconds the difference between Miller and Delaney currently. Benefield's still running 3rd. He's got about a second up on Lucas Hoytsma. And then you got Heitman, Dyson, Gitter, Murray, Anderson, DiCiani running out the top 10. And we're finally starting to see a little bit of separation for the majority of stage 1 and the early portions of stage 2. The top 10 was separated by less than 7 seconds. Now we're finally getting drivers a little bit further back. There are drivers going laps down. Tanner Marty, currently the 1st car a lap down, eligible for the Lucky Dog if he remains the 1st car lap down, although Chandler in the 31 is only a few seconds away from taking that title should Miller catch up to him. But good competition all the way around, and everybody just racing exceptionally clean, which is nice to see. It seems like between the Contender Series and Real Life Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, it's been a while since I've seen a nice clean race here at Phoenix, but maybe Callie mentioning wanting a good clean race at the start put some good mojo on it.
Yeah, clean it has been. I mean, I want to say that all of our championship races have been fairly clean, but we tend to get a couple cautions for cause. I think we got one in stage 2 in 2021. that championship that Adam Benfield was able to win. And John Delaney stayed out on tires. It was kind of a 20-lap run and decided to stay out as opposed to pitting with the rest. So he did what everyone else didn't do. And I think that was about his undoing, as he didn't get any more cautions, so didn't get a chance to exploit that offset. But no cautions here so far tonight. Again, we'll see if we go clean all the way through. Again, we do have a stage break coming up at 185 as we saw Jeff Chandler remit that position there. As we see that's the 12 of Nolan Hassan getting around him. But just taking a look here through the field, got some cars here that are close together. I'm seeing that looks like the Jim Schofield and Randy Drumhiller are pretty close together there. I think that's Randy Drumhiller I'm looking at there in the 44.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Sorry,
Yep, Randy Drumhiller, SOB. Then you got Jim Schofield, Jason Taylor, Kyle Ammon with the driver's suit. You got the corn cob machine, Nolan Hobson, further back through there as well. And
as the
corn cob. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the 15 car is coming up on that group, so it looks like Robert Miller is working his way up to the back of Kyle Ammon, who is looking to go a lap down. So again, as you just mentioned a second ago, the battle for Lucky Dog, right? We have a stage caution coming. So right now, Jeff Chandler in the 31 machine, and that Silver Don Wheaton car is currently in that spot. Nolan Hodson, who's just going to lap down here too. But now Robert Miller now working through the back of Kyle Ammon, so looks to be the next guy to go a lap down. So that'd be something to keep an eye on. Those guys will be racing pretty hard between each other. Typically, in the middle of a run like this, usually you don't give the leader too much grief, but as you see Kyle Ammon on screen, you want to keep yourself in position for a good finish position in stage 3, and going a lap down does not do that. So he may start to run into a little bit of issues here in lap traffic with Delaney about 5 seconds down the road. That might give him an opportunity to maybe close up. Knock on wood, hopefully nothing bad happens, but look, it's always a dangerous proposition trying to work your way in and out of lap cars. Because again, look, these cars aren't that slow. I mean, look, 20 to go here. As look, these cars aren't. The further he goes up the field, the faster these cars are, the harder they are to pass. So that just invites opportunity for things to go wrong, and also for John Delaney to make up ground there in second position.
Absolutely, it does. Well, as we are 20 laps to the end of the stage, now 19, let's go ahead and take in the sights and sounds of Phoenix, Arizona for just a few laps here and listen to the roar of this next-gen dual exhaust car that bring the noise. And we are back with just a few laps to go here in the stage. it is still Robert Miller out front. Jonathan Delaney 5.4 seconds back, which, you know, to Morris, that gap is looking pretty similar to what it was looking like when we left off there. So seems like the pace may be equalizing.
Yeah, lap traffic not playing the biggest factor as we thought it might have just a few moments ago. But yeah, look, the biggest thing though also is that, you know, although after the pit cycle, you know, that would have been a reset, right? We talked about it. So John Delaney was able to make any changes he wanted to make, but more importantly, he got out of any dirty air that may have caused him issues early in the run. So he's been running in clean air, so you would think that pace would start to even out. But again, hey, look, he only needs to beat 3 guys. Robert Miller can go and he can take the checkered flag if he wants. And, you know, John Delaney is doing what he needs to do and what he's been trying to accomplish for these last 9 months of racing, all 36 of these races. So as we go on board with Johan Seminario, here he is trying to work on Big Car DeSanta. That's Alex Van de Sant in front of him as we race on lap 174, going to lap 185, so about 10 or so left in the stage. As he gets the run on the 96 car, he will dive underneath and have the preferred line here in 2, 3, and 4. He will hold that yellow line. There he goes to try to get the drive off from Alex Van de Sant. And I expect he would cut the dog leg. Yep, there he goes down to the bottom. Whereas they're still side by side. Alex Van de Sant on the quarter of Johan Seminario, who we have here in car on screen. Looks like 96 gives him plenty of room, maybe trying for a cutback here as they go down to the backstretch. Yes, it will be a little bit of defense here from Seminario as he moves. I'm sure Alex Van de Sant will not like that. But he will continue to follow him down into 3 and 4. And Johan Seminario looks like he has got that position away from the 96 car. So that your battle here for the 11th position. Again, we're working to the end of stage 2. So this is for stage point. Again, that does not matter to your championship 4. However, these guys are still racing for top 25 in the league to try to secure that charter position for next season. So still all to play for here. And back in the field, I think for a lap down battle here, I do believe we have, I'm looking at Jason S. Taylor in the back here, Carlos, with Jeff Chandler, who I think, as I said, that battle has just ended. So the lap down cars here getting after it. Those two are not, that's not currently for your lucky dog. Right now, the lucky dog is Jim Schofield in the 47 machine. He runs in 14th position with 10 laps to go. So he'll be trying to keep up with the leader as best he can and hoping that Robert Miller does not catch any more cars here on the racetrack to knock him out of that lucky dog position.
And it's looking like Robert may, in fact, catch a few more cars. He's got SOB not far in front. It's looking about half a second going to be the gap, maybe 7/10. And as SOB gets a little bit loose, Robert's going to close that gap even more. And right ahead of SOB, you got another lap car. So maybe not looking too good for Schofield getting the lucky dog, but you never know. The laps are winding down. And I'm curious to see how aggressive Robert is going to get with this lap traffic. I mean, knowing that you're coming to a stage break and you've got a pretty sizable lead, really no reason to get too aggressive. I mean, the further ahead he gets with these lap cars, the closer to his own pace they're going to be, which means overtaking is going to be a little bit more difficult. So maybe he's just going to take a little bit easy here. We'll have to see how he approaches SOB. Sean takes a good line through 1 and 2. But down into 1 and 2, looks like Robert Miller going to be about half a car length lower on the track towards that yellow line. Bit of a wiggle out of Sean, getting a little bit loose. And that is going to open the door for Robert Miller to cut the dog leg, and we may be looking at another car a lap down. Robert's looking at that yellow line. Can't quite make the pass yet, though. SOB's putting up a fight.
Yeah, it looks pretty smooth on the wheel. I'm not seeing any handling issues from SOBJ, so looks not to be an ill handling race car, just maybe not on the pace of our front runners. But that doesn't bode well for Robert Miller. But here's the thing, too. You know, one of those things we talk about, these are full-length races. And one of the things that you learn here as we watch SOBJ and Robert Miller continue to do battle there, one of the things you learn is that you got to pick your battles. You got to know when to go, when not to go, right? You don't, just because you can take every position doesn't mean you need to. You put yourself in bad situations that way. So a lot of these guys, again, this is their second and third year in the league. Robert Miller is a veteran here, 100% Cup Series. As a lesson he has learned very well here. So maybe just saying, hey, look, we live to fight another day. We only got 3 more laps here in the stage. I don't really need this position, right? It doesn't affect anything in my race. So maybe thinking better of to make sure he stays clean for stage 3.
Yeah, exactly. Staying clean is going to be the key. And I tell you what, Sean Bryan Jr., I think he's going to finish this stage on the lead lap, which is good for Schofield. Because Robert Miller, he made a swing at it. He definitely went for it, but he's not been able to get around him. And I think, honestly, he cooked his tires a little bit trying to get around the 24, heated him up a little bit. Now he's going to have to regroup and just take it easy to the stage end. Lap 183 out of 185, so 2.5 laps now to that final green and white checker. And Jonathan Delaney gaining a little bit as Robert Miller has struggled to get through this traffic. It was about 5.5 seconds, now 4.8, but again, not close enough to be within striking distance. Adam Benefiel, 11 seconds back, who is actually now falling to the clutches of Lucas Hoytsma, who was about 3 seconds behind Benefiel, now about 1.5 seconds, so not going to get to him by the end of the stage, but does show some good long run speed at the 0.7. And then another consistent top 5 contender, Derek Heitman, rounding out the top 5 thus far, with Andrew Dyson not far back. Dyson, again, quietly good tonight, not as good as maybe we expected. We saw him start on that front row, and he was in the top 3 for so long early on, but he kind of fell a little bit further back. But here we go, white flag of the stage, and we're going to be getting this one wrapped up. Down to the bottom of the track goes Robert Miller. Is he going to get around the 24? Is he going to force SOB into an uncomfortable situation? I don't think so, not yet. Down the back straightaway for the final time in stage 2. And it looks like Robert Miller is going to go ahead and take the stage win for stage 2. And Sean Bryan Jr., for almost 10 laps, held on. And then I think he slipped back there. No, he did. He finished on the lead lap. So, what a move by Sean, playing some good defense there. And Delaney, they didn't get the stage win, but still the highest finishing championship contender in that stage. So, you've been saying it all night, Damaris, but just doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, I'm seeing hearing radio chatter from the drivers. They, unlike NASCAR, they can talk to each other in the radio channel here to usually express frustration with each other. But I think some thanks being exchanged there between Robert Miller and the 24. So a little bit of cooperation, as again you tend to see from the leaders at the end of stages. But yeah, look, kind of the only thing that I'm seeing there with the championship 4 is Murray is continuing to kind of slide back. So maybe trying to make some adjustments on the car, maybe just going the wrong way here for the 22 machine. But everybody else sitting about where they were. Lucas Hoytsma made up a lot of ground that stage, seemed to show a lot of pace. As the guys will come down pit road on screen, you see him being led by that 15 machine of Robert Miller, who was your stage 2 winner. But yeah, Lucas Hoytsma made a lot of ground that campaign there in stage 2. So maybe figuring something out here with the car, and maybe getting a little bit closer to John Delaney. We have seen, Lucas Hoytsma, who did race his way into the championship for Hosted. Who's the man he beat on the line there, Andre? It was John Delaney. So he has done it before. Can do it again, and similar, this is looking eerily similar to the end of Miami Homestead, where seeming out of nowhere, where Delaney was almost unchallenged, Lucas Hoytsma came out of nowhere and got him on the line.
It could
Miami
be.
Homestead.
Again, we got a lot of laps left, so anything could happen, and you're right. Lucas Hoytsma picking up some momentum here and there, maybe learn a little thing or two from his teammate who did win stage 2. Speaking of Robert Miller, let's go ahead and see if I can't dial him up on the radio now that he is out of the pits. Give me one moment. Mr. Miller, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Robert, car's looking pretty dang good out there, leading most of stage 2 and really leaving the competition in the dust. How's it feeling?
It's feeling pretty good. It took me a whole first run to figure out how to drive here again compared to the spring race. It's a different aero and tire model, so I had to do some homework real quick and just start driving again.
Oh, you can't leave us hanging like that. What's different now? What's the secret to this track?
Really the difference is just the different underbody and different tire model they have, iRacing does, so it's just a different, you have to have a lot more mechanical grip than you did in spring, per se, because you don't have as much aero as you used to.
Gotcha. All right. Well, you got quite a bit of racing left. You're on lap 189 out of 312 and not eligible for the championship, but definitely going for a trophy. What is the mindset going into this final stage? What's the plan?
Well, since it's my last race official, I don't know if you told anybody yet, but it's my last 100% race in this league. To say real life is going to make me go away for a long time next year. So this will be my last one, so I'm just going to go out and see if I can win one.
All right. Sounds good. Well, we wish you the best of luck and go get them.
Appreciate it.
All right, stage 2 winner out of the booth, and yeah, Robert did mention to us, at least to me, that he planned on retiring not just from the league, but more or less from sim racing for the foreseeable future. As we kind of touched upon earlier, there's a lot of real world events that are calling for his attention, a lot of different deployments and things that he's going to be dealing with. So we wish him the best of luck, and hopefully he can stay safe and continue doing what he does, and one day he'll be back on the service and, well, making life difficult for everybody else tomorrow by just going out there and smoking them.
Yeah, we appreciate the time that we've had with Robert Miller, again, net positive here in the community, so it's been an honor to watch him race and work. And again, he does a lot of the, again, one of the guys that are affiliated with the professional esports side of sim racing, so a lot of knowledge there in that noggin of Robert Miller. I think he's pretty much the leader there of the team there, so getting the guys ready here in 100% Cup Series week in and week out. So we'll salute him as he steps off here, his last race of the series. So it's been an honor and privilege to watch him. But we are now under the control of that 15 car. And look who's on the front row with them. That 6 car of John Delaney is now on the front row. So they will be vying for that clean air here off the restart as they go through 3 and 4 in the restart zone. And early he goes. Robert Miller is away. And the 15 car takes him down into the dog leg. Here they go. With the 07 getting the jump on John Delaney, he moves up into second position. So right now, if the checkered flag was thrown in the race and we stopped everything, your champion would be the 07 of Lucas Hoytsma. So showing that he is ready to go again, storyline, this is almost, it's a glitch in the matrix as they go blocking down into 3 and 4. So hard racing, Lucas Hoytsma knows that fresh air is important, that clean air, and does not want to give that spot up to John Delaney. John Delaney maybe remembering what happened at Miami and saying, no, we can't let this 07 go, because once he gets in front of me, he might not come back.
Yeah, definitely want to get out in front now while you can. The problem for John is that contact between John Delaney and Lucas Hoytsma. Lucas trying to get a bit of a side draft, maybe got a little bit too aggressive with it. He backed out of the throttle. That's going to put him back into 3rd place, second for the championship. And that's going to put John Delaney back in position to win the title. Were we to end it now, but I was going to say the difficult thing for Delaney is that it's Lucas's teammate that leads the race, and he may be able to control the pace enough to keep Lucas within arm's reach. And one thing I wanted to ask you, Tomas, because I haven't raced at this track and I don't know a whole lot about the way it works on the iRacing service, but is the Geico restart zone misaligned at this track? Because to me it looked like Robert went a solid 50 feet before that blue restart zone. And so did Lucas. I thought for a minute they were going to get some sort of penalty.
Well, we're not using
so we don't. Yeah, so I can speak to that. We do not use the restart zone. So in iRacing, you are able to configure where the front row has to go in the restart zone, similar to real life NASCAR. We got battles all through the field here, as we see you to watch on screen. Bobby Anderson here trying to make some hay as they're all stacked up with cars all over him. He's in the Hornet's nets, and that Kellogg's number 5. But yeah, I can speak on that. We do not use the restart zones here. So once the pace car is off the track, is at the leader's discretion. So in this case, the control car was Robert Miller. So once the pace car is off the track, we got that long trek down into 3 and 4. When he gets good and ready, he can go whenever he likes. It's on the rest of the field to keep up with them. Just been too many bugs and things as iRacing continues to work out the kinks of that restart zone. So we just found it easier in 100% to just let the guys go until they kind of get all that hashed out. So no penalties for them. They do have to, not supposed to pass or anything until the start-finish line, similar to real NASCAR. So another thing they really have to watch out for there. But nope, most guys use the restart zone as a takeoff point, but they don't have to use it. They can go whenever they like.
Okay, yeah, so that's on me. Again, doing a lot of different leagues and commentating, sometimes I forget which leagues do which rule sets. And I do remember that now. 100% does not do the restart zones. Did we try it at one point and then we reverted? I think we might have done that at one point, but either way, you are correct. No restart zones, and that does make sense. And the pace car pulls off very early in this track, so the window of where you can go is pretty large.
Yeah, I mean, typically I didn't do it this year, but usually we give a little note to the little race director's notes of like, well, hey guys, don't take off on the backstretch. So again, most guys will get close to that restart zone. But again, most of these guys, these are all veterans. You don't have a whole lot of rookies. So no one making their first start tonight, because we have John Delaney here on the 3-wide multi-cam on the bottom, riding on board with John Delaney. Up top, watching all the battles here you have going on track. But yeah, we usually give a little direction. But again, we no rookies here tonight, per se, or first race. So don't really have to worry about that. Most guys are familiar with the procedures here in the series. And again, even though most of these guys do race multiple leagues, but again, you don't really forget the full length series when you spend so much time here. So, but yeah, they'll keep it under wraps. But yeah, but potentially at most tracks, once the pace car is off, you can go as early as you like, as long as the pace car is completely off the racing surface. So just opens up some more of that strategy too on restarts, let guys to be able to go when they want to, and again adds excitement to these green light checkers we usually have after finishing these races.
It does open up a lot of strategy, and speaking of retirements, going back to what Robert Miller said, this is very likely John Delaney's final start as well. He has said on numerous occasions he plans to really dedicate his sim racing time fully to going pro and trying to get through the Coke series and all of that stuff. So league racing will be kept at a minimum. So this may be the last time you see John Delaney in a race that is broadcasted that is not the Coke series or contender. So if he can go out on top, obviously that's what he's trying to do, going out as the only, or I guess I should say first multi-time champion of the 100% Cup Series. Starting to pull away a little bit from Lucas Weitzman, but I tell you what, Lucas is actually starting to reel him back in as I say that, because they had stepped out. Robert Miller and John Delaney had about half a second over Weitzman. Now John's fallen back, Weitzman's at his bumper, and behind them you got a few more cars for position. It's a good battle with Adam Benefield in fourth. And I'll tell you what, Adam Benefield, his last time by, 27.69. Lucas Weitzman, 27.74. So I wouldn't count that 83 out. He's picking off some really good laps right now.
Not only that, I see some battling back in the field here. So Gitter and Heitman have been side by side here for all lap, and here they are still going at it. As Patrick Gitter is trying to take that position away from the 76 machine of Derek Heitman. So they are side by side as they race down the backstretch. Here we go on that bottom line. So again, kind of multi-line here at Phoenix in both sides. You can defend, as we've seen on a couple tracks here we've gone to in the recent history. You can defend on that top line. You get the momentum off of that top line onto the backstretch or front stretch. But then the other guy underneath you can side draft. So side by side they remain, the 21 and the 76, as they battle here for the 8th position, which is important for both cars in front. So Gisiani affiliated with the EPI squad here, Heitman affiliated with the Project eSports side, and both teams have drivers just ahead of them. So trying to keep each other away from that battle in the front, which is Matt Gisiani and Alex Murray, just in front of them. But it looks like, as I thought they were going to fall back, but look who's waiting there in the wings, though, the 5 car, that Toyota of Bobby Anderson. This battle has allowed him to stay on the front as they're starting to peak down low, and there he goes, showing that nose a little bit underneath the 21 of Patrick Gitter, as these guys in the back here in the back of the top 10 starting to get a little antsy. The racing's picking up and business is picking up here in the 3rd stage.
It absolutely is. Bobby Anderson, he's just kind of been in the catbird seat here, watching the 21 and the 76. And what I found interesting about the 76 there, when he made that overtake, when he finally cleared himself of Patrick Gitter, he did it on the outside. He drove it in really deep and almost did a bit of a reverse slide job. He drove in deep on the outside, slid down the track, and kind of parked the bus. And now he's got that clean air. He's pulling away a little bit. But it's not very often you see that kind of a bold move where you just drive it in deep on the outside here at Phoenix. He made it work, though. So the setup's got to be working pretty well, and I bet that 76 is feeling pretty good. Let's see what kind of progress he continues to make. The next car up the road is going to be Matt DiCiani, and that is a pretty sizable gap, so it'll be a while before that really develops. But DiCiani and Murray both running ahead of each other here. Alex Murray P6, Matt DiCiani P7. They are 3rd and 4th in the championship, respectively. Then it is still going to be John Delaney leading the championship, and as we talked about Delaney falling back towards Lucas Weitzman, well, he has caught our leader once again. He's within just 0.2 of a second, and it looks like he is calm, cool, and collected behind the wheel, just trying to do what he can as we go on board. Bottom of the 3 wide PD multicam, top of the screen. Still some good battling all over the track, but his top 3 really not getting very separated here. And I don't know if these guys just got a little bit more serious, a little bit more focused, or if maybe Weitzman and Delaney found something with that pit stop, made a bit of an adjustment, and now they can finally keep pace with that 15.
Yeah, we just for a moment there, we saw the battle there also for your lucky dog. So Jedi Taylor and Nolan Hodson, the 41 and 12, they're battling nose to tail there to try to stay that first car 1 lap down in that lucky dog position. So if we were to get a caution here before the leaders get back to the tail end of the field, That's what that battle is for. So all important there, trying to get back on the lead lap for them. I will say that just watching John Delaney here on the bottom as we ride on board with him and have him on the webcam here, always looks cool and collected. Not a whole lot of sweating and anxiousness here from John Delaney. Looks like he's reading a good book on a Saturday evening, really, as he kind of just sits there and kind of methodically just doing what he does. I will say that watching that battle, so something we talked about earlier in stage one, though, Andre, is he's in the LMM sandwich. So Robert Miller's out front. You know he wants to take the win and get a checkered flag in his final race here in the series. But they are teammates, 15 and 07, and there may be a little opportunity here to perhaps bring a team championship home for John Delaney, who ran afoul of that in 2021, where John Delaney was, again, probably your favorite to win the championship, the year that Adam Benefield won it, but almost all 4 championship drivers were aligned to seemingly race him as hard as they could. And again, just you could not mount the charge there against all of them. I think Robert Miller even got in on that too. I think he finished second in that race, if I remember correctly. And that was the last car that he had to get around.
Here we go.
Actually, I think I actually helped him get around that as we go. Battle for the lead. Here they are. John Delaney is finally caught in underneath Robert Miller. So here is the battle for the lead again. John Delaney racing for a championship. Robert Miller racing for his. And contact off the wall as they come back. That's going to bump John Delaney back behind the 15. So he's going to fall back behind them as they go through 3 and 4, and they do it all over again as they come through start-finish line and into the dog leg.
Yeah, they're going to have to be very careful with that wall contact. If you do that too many times, you're going to get some damage to a toe link or something mechanical, and that is not what you want, especially if you're John Delaney. You are leading the championship currently. You don't need to win the race, so don't get too crazy with it, but he is getting a little bit impatient. I think he wants around this 15. He sees that 0-7, and like you said, he doesn't like being meet in the LMM sandwich. He wants to be out front, wants that clean area, and wants to try and just pull away like he did back in stage 1. Now, I don't know if he found something on that pit stop or if he was just kind of sandbagging there in stage 2, but he definitely seems to be back in form right now. So Robert Miller having to do a little bit of mirror driving. Just look how deep John Delaney drives it into the corner. That was a good 20 feet deeper. He drove it in and then had to give up a little bit of that pace in the center, but just running very different lines that are coming together to produce very similar lap times. It's just going to be who makes the bobble.
Yeah, then back in the field again, we watch the battle in front. So that Lucky Dog battle is getting a little heated too. So we know Jedi Taylor can get a little frustrated back there as they race in, I think, 14th or 15th for that position. But him and Nolan Hodgson, who they also have a little bit of history here, the 12 and the 41, as we watch them back in the pack. But on screen, we have up top Bobby Anderson, who is riding along in your 10th position. So again, no more stage breaks here planned. We've hit all of our stage breaks. We're going to the end. We're working lap 215 of 312. So 97 laps to go as they cross the stripe here. Only 2 cautions, and that's been our stage breaks here for 8 laps. Very clean here from all the drivers, even though we've had hard racing. We just saw up front for the lead. But John Delaney is continuing to stay on the bumper there of Robert Miller. So he's not able to walk away, but one person that is losing ground is that 07 of Lucas Hoytsma, not able to keep pace even with the racing ahead of him of the top 2. So that is something we will continue to watch. But the other 2 competitors, we start to see some green flag stops, so some pit strategy playing out here. I saw the 31 come down a few laps ago. Thought that was maybe just an aberration, but the 29 of Tanner Marty now calling out he's coming down pit road. So guys are looking to maybe do a 2-stop or maybe pit a little early and go here to the end to try to maybe jump some track positions. So we'll keep an eye on all that playing out in the pit strategy. I would expect, not quite sure what the fuel number is here tonight, but I would expect the guys to do what they did in stage 2 and maybe split the stage is typically going to be the quickest way to get from point A to point B. But you got to factor in where you are, track position, how many lap cars are on track, all that kind of stuff, and also keep an eye on what your competitors are doing. So we'll watch all that here in stage 3 as we work 218 going to 212. Again, 95 laps to go as your 2 or all 4 of your championship 4 competitors are in your top 7.
Yeah, they are all up inside the top 7 doing a great job so far tonight, and it is interesting to see how it develops. You know, who's got the long run car, who's got the short run car. It seems like the long run has been what Hoytsma has struggled with all night long, whereas Delaney's just got a good all-around. You know, he may not be the best car in short run, but he's definitely passable. He's good on a short run, and then the long run kicks in, and now it seems like he is every bit as quick as Miller once the stages start to go on and on. The tires get a little bit more worn, and I can't even so much say that it's a setup thing that maybe Hoytsma's struggling with. It could just be that this track is very difficult to save tire air. It is relatively flat. There is banking, but you don't really feel it in the car. And it's incredibly easy to make those little bit of over inputs into the steering wheel, crank it a little bit too much, maybe do a little bit too much counter steering on corner exit, heat those tires up, put the cycle through them, and well, a couple laps later, you're going to be feeling the consequences. It is not an easy track to conserve at all. It's good for saving fuel. You got all that off throttle time, you can clutch, but tires, yeah, forget about it. It's going to be really tough. So maybe that could be the case. But Murray and DeCiani, you talk about picking up pace and getting a little bit better throughout the race. These drivers were barely clinging on to top 10 positions earlier in the night. Now they've gotten up to 6th and 7th, respectively, as you mentioned. So getting a little bit quicker, but they are running out of time. Lap 221 out of 312. We are under 100 laps to go. So if they got a rabbit in the hat, I think now is the time to pull it out.
Yeah, and I think we'll see a little bit of that here as we get close to the end. Again, if you know you don't have what it takes to beat the guy in front of you, maybe you go for that Hail Mary on your last pit stop and say, you know what, Harry, put all the wedge in it you can give me, because I'm just going to go out there and drive it like I stole it and hope for a miracle. So, but all these guys will be talking out on the radio. I know, again, I've been a part of Team Conti in years past and Apex Racing. I will tell you that the conversation never stops on what are you feeling, what are you seeing, what are you getting from other guys, what do you think the adjustments should be, what tire pressure's here, what spring perch is there. So, and a whole host of adjustments available to all these guys, again, similar to the real world. Not quite everything, but again, you can make some significant adjustments to adjust the way the aero platform is. All 4 tires, you can adjust the tire pressures, which affects the long run pace and rotation of the car. So all that discussion will be going on. I've seen a few of these guys have more folks than usual have brought in spotters or engineers for this race, it being the championship of 100% Cup Series, so even more support than normal. So all those conversations will be happening on the pit box and in the Discord channels of all the teams of what they need to do. On top of that, look, keep an eye on what the track temp has been doing all day long. So we get started here pretty early local time here in Phoenix. So with the weather and all that stuff taking effect and playing a part. I will say, though, that the lap times are very close. Just taking a look here at the stopwatch. So 28.3 that last time by Robert Miller. Lucas Hoistman seems to be matching that the last 2 laps, actually. He's matched just about, only a couple hundred slower than Robert Miller. So we'll keep an eye on that as well if there is a resurgence there from the 07. But looks like overall continue to fall back from your top 2. So the race for the championship, to keep an eye on it here on lap 225. Delaney is right now doing everything he needs to do to put his hands around that championship trophy at the end of the day, closely followed by Lucas Hoistman, who worked his way up from mired in the top 10 earlier in the race. I believe he started 7th or so here in the race. So he's worked his way up into that 3rd position, but currently runner-up in the championship. Your other 2 competitors, Murray and DeCiani, are nose to tail as they run 6th and 7th. And so they're in between, or they have Benefield and Andrew Dyson between them. So the 83 and the 04 looks a little bit faster than our championship 4 competitors. But some teammate support for DeCiani. Again, Benefield is aligned with the EPI squad, racing for Team Conti. So we'll see if that comes into play. But again, John Delaney also flanked by the LMM boys in 1st and 3rd.
That he is, and I'll tell you what, producer Carlos suggested a through the field, so I think that's a good time to do it. We'll try to get it in before the green flag pit stops and everything gets jumbled up, because that seems to be the way things go. You start one of these through the fields, and all of a sudden things get
every time. Let's do it.
Robert Miller leading the way so far. He's got 6 tenths of a second to the stage 1 winner, John Delaney. So both the stage winners out front, but Robert Miller trying to go out on top in his final race.
Behind him in 2nd place, we have that Fast Machine, the favorite to win the championship, the stint analyzer number 6, John Delaney, as we have him on screen there, doing everything he needs to do. We keep talking about it. Maybe not quite has the pace to win the race, but he doesn't need to win the race. He has to only beat the other 3 guys. Started here, I think, on the front rope, currently running in 3rd position.
In 3rd place, Lucas Hoytsma. It may be a story of so close yet so far away. He's seen the back bumper of that number 6. He's been in front of the number 6 at times. But so far, it seems like his car is just a hair off, and he's not quite able to run him down. Still a solid podium performance, but he's looking for a little bit more.
Just behind him, Adam Benefield in that black and gold Jimmy Strong car there in the number 83. Another strong run here for Adam Benefield as he looks at the camera. Hey, what's up, Adam? The balding bullet himself, future iRock contender there, working his way in position number 4. A great race from him as always. Look, he always takes it easy in the beginning, but finds his way up front at the end. But he's being chased by that car in the next position behind him.
Andrew Dyson in the 04 machine, currently running at 5th place. He got himself some road course wins this season, but right now trying to get a top 5 here on one of the ovals, and so far doing a good job of it.
Yep, and behind them in your 6th position, that's Matt DeCiani in the Ford machine. My pick to win it all. Not quite there, but still in touch, so all not lost here for Matt DeCiani in that EPI Chevrolet. Won his way in dramatic fashion here into the Championship 4, knocking out his teammate, eventually Patrick Gitter. So running in your 7th position, strong run for Matt DeCiani, but needing a little bit more here in your 7th position.
Patrick Gitter, the Rookie of the Year, looking to end his season just as well as the rest of it has gone. Currently running at P7 in that number 21 machine, and he's already got the Rookie of the Year trophy, but, maybe some late race cautions, he might be walking away with another trophy.
Yep, Derek Heitman right behind him in the 76 machine, the No Kids Hunger Ford Mustang. Was running up a little bit I think up in 4th was his highest run of the day, but has fallen off just a little bit after the green flag cycle, so guys seem to be adjusting a little bit, but looking to make some ground here on Patrick Gitter. But Derek Heitman in 76 running in your 8th position.
P9 going to go to Alex Murray, currently the lowest of the championship contenders. He's engaged in a battle right now with Bobby Anderson, but struggling with the setup, I think, a little bit tonight, and he's improved little by little. We'll see if he can continue to do so.
Yep, and then one of the lone Toyotas here in the field, Bobby Anderson, who we see doing battle here side by side with Alex Murray, trying to take away that position as we do through the field. So that 5 Kellogg's car is looking good, feeling good, trying to move his way forward to support his team. Also a DSR driver, but former LMM driver, I believe, last year for that squad. But running in your 8th position, but looking to take, or 9th position, or 10th position, but looking to take away 9th here from Alex Murray.
Looking outside of the top 10.
Contact there. You go through almost losing, but he saves it. Sorry to interrupt there, Andre, but that got a little hairy there in 9th position.
No, you're all right. I think we did that, Mars, because every time we do it through the field, something, it's got to get jumbled up a little bit. So, we're just doing our job, making it exciting. But Johan Seminario was P11, as we were about to talk about him, but now he is 10th, the muscle man, trying to finish in P10 if he can continue this momentum. Bit of a scary moment there.
Yeah, I guess we'll jump over. So Robert Anderson's fallen back to the position, but let's jump to Alex Van de Sant in the 96. So he's currently running in your 12th position. So I haven't talked a lot about Big Car DeSantis. He's been battling just a little bit here. Thought he'd run a little better. I think he tends to run good at the braking tracks. Again, double-time Indy champion across iRacing. I mean, he's won everything there is to win in the open wheel and getting it done here on the ovals and the stock cars in the 96 car, running in your 12th position.
And running 13th currently, SOB, Sean O'Brien Jr. Was maybe given a little bit of grace by Robert Miller. He did not lap him there coming to the close of stage 2. It kept him on the lead lap. He was able to pick with the leaders, and that's another driver that's been steadily improving all night long, currently running 13th and not too far away from Big Car DeSantis, so we'll see what he can do with that.
Yep, just behind him, so running in 14th position, we'll have Jim Schofield in the 47. So was in your running rookie here this season, was in the running for Rookie of the Year. I think he won again a race early in the season, so it was a lot closer, maybe 8 or 9 races ago. But unfortunately, Andrew Dyson and Patrick Gitter just kind of walked away from him. But I think he'll take home 3rd or 4th in that Rookie of the Year's championship, racing for Dirty South Racing here. But decent, solid run here from Jim as always. It's kind of that kind of guy, capable of top 10s, currently running in your 14th position, looking to gain a little bit more here today.
And they haven't pitted yet, so we might as well keep it going. Back in 15th place is going to be Nolan Hodgson in the Corn Cob Mobile. Nolan's one of those drivers that I think last time I was in the booth 100%, I said he was the one that really amazed me the most, just in terms of how much he's improved over the last few seasons overall. As a driver, a lot cleaner than he used to be and a lot faster than he used to be. Maybe not finding the speed here at Phoenix, but we all have off nights, and still that 12 car looking pretty clean so far. It ain't over yet for Nolan Hodgson.
Yeah, and the guy racing him for the Lucky Dog position is Jedi Jason S. Taylor in the 41. So just losing a little bit of ground here. I know that they were battling pretty hard here at the beginning of the run. I guess looks like Jedi maybe knew what was coming down the pipe, that maybe he couldn't keep up with the 12 car. So anyway, continuing to try to salvage what he can this evening. Unfortunate that kind of had some struggles here later on in the year. Not just Jason, but the whole Apex team. So not having the run that he would like, but again, a solid run for him. Had a solid run last night in D2. Looking to see if he can make some gains here and close out a strong 2023 season here.
And looking back from Jason Taylor, it's going to be Kyle Ammon in the 25. Moon himself.
Hey, Moon!
He is going to be rocking that driver's suit and the death stare even still. Although, with the camera being off to the side, I don't think the death stare has quite the same effect. But he's still having a pretty solid night. That 25 machine looking clean as well. Not too many incidents out on track, so everybody able to keep their machines going the right direction. Kyle among them. But Moon wrapping out a good finish.
I see what you did there. Tanner Marty, DGR machine, who has raced, I think, almost every official race this week to try to set up his car. Coming into this race, I had a 4th place finish in the NIS when I was watching a Basic Ollie stream. So even got some YouTube time there earlier in the season, or earlier in this week. But again, solid run, trying to get his way up to the lucky dog position here, 29. So Tanner Marty, you're running in your 18th position.
P19, it's going to be that gold number 1, the Jimmy Strong Chevrolet of Dustin Hall. And he is currently running 2 laps down, but he did lead some laps early in this event, pulled a bit of a Cody Bird strategy, and got some laps up on the pylon, doing Coben some justice there with that beautiful paint scheme and solid lap sled earlier. And just finishing out the team pretty strong, rooting on his teammate there. We talked to him pre-race. He's pulling for that number 4, DeCiani.
Yep, and the man in your 20th position, so we haven't talked a whole lot about Randy Drumhiller, but the OG of the league. It's kind of taken over that mantle of Mr. Consistency. He's always showing up and usually getting a strong run here. Is usually the guy I'm racing with when I'm in the car. We have some pretty good battles here between me and the 44. So a few laps down here. So not the night that Randy Drumhiller was looking for here, as he's currently 3 laps down. But seeing what he can get here, I forget what team he races for, actually. I think he's another DSR driver, maybe.
Guy.
But anyway, Randy Drumhiller in your 20th position, trying to move up.
And he is the last car on the track. There are 3 cars that are no longer on the racing surface. Jeff Chandler in the 31, he parked it 33 laps ago. Dalton Mobley parked it 140 laps ago. And Wayne Grassi parked it 162 laps ago. So those drivers in the graveyard, so to speak. And they're watching on from the infield, cheering on their teammates, I'm sure. But these races, they're long, they are grueling, and sometimes if you're not running well and the car is just not feeling too well, maybe you park it and say you had enough for the night. And those 3 drivers definitely maybe had enough fun.
Yeah, as we check back in, situation on the road here, lap 247, so 66 laps to go here. Robert Miller is still your leader out front, but looks like John Delaney is all over him, trying to take that position back away again. So he's only about 700s, I'm seeing here on the ticker, behind Robert Miller. So trying to pressure the 15 into a mistake, that's going to be a hard thing to do. Mr. Cool, I mean, we know what Robert Miller deals with in real life. I don't think a virtual sim race is going to cause him any pressure or any angst. So we're continuing to lead that battle there. The 07 continues to run 3rd position, falling back ever more here is Lucas Hoisman. So not making any ground here. So seeing that championship slowly slip away here as we get to lap 248. And then your other 2 competitors, DeCiani has moved up quite a bit and Murray's going backwards. So DeCiani is in 6th place. So looking a little bit better, but still about 4 places too short here for him to be winning a championship. So that's kind of your situation on the road here. Your top 5 is Miller, Delaney, Hoytsma, Dyson, and Benefield as we kind of work here to the green flag stops that we should be expecting here I'd probably say the next 15 or so laps. We'll start seeing guys come down pit road, and those that are going to split the stage and not gamble for a caution start to come down into the attention of all their pit crew.
Yeah, it shouldn't be long now, and I can't imagine too many of them would gamble for a caution. Again, we have gone 250 laps free of cautions for cause, just the stage cautions racking up the field, and everything else so far has been clean and green. Again, on your screen, pretty good battle right here. I believe that is Tanner Marty in the 29. And I'm kind of looking at a bit of a blurry feed there. Let me pull it up on my... No, that is not Tanner Marty. Who are we looking at here?
21 and Heitman.
21 machine again. Okay, and Derek Heitman. So those drivers get a little bit side by side, and this is the prime point in the run, I think, to get some side-by-side battles. You see Bobby Anderson there going down to the low side, trying to pick up another position on the board and get around Alex Murray in that 22.
Oh, cars ducking off the pit road here, Andre. We got 2 coming down, so Gitter flanked by another car there. DeCiani are down pit road. So here we go. Green flag cycle is kicked off. So we'll see who has to respond to this. So the cars that are on track, what are they going to do? These are not, these two not championship. Oh, well, sorry, DeCiani is. So DeCiani pulling the Kevin Steele strategy, which was to pit early with our first championship in 2020. And he almost won that championship by forcing those guys to fight him on the long run. I made mention of that, I believe, at Las Vegas. Just how impressive that was. Again, you can check out our YouTube shorts if you want to see kind of the end of that battle with Cam Caldwell. But the gauntlet being thrown down, so here we go, kind of the Hail Mary, the first move being made by Matt DeCiani, and he's going to bring, I'm sure he's going to bring down the rest of these playoff competitors here not too long after, as they'll have to cover off the move and not be undercut by the tire advantage he'll have coming off on pit road.
You know, I was glad to see that DeCiani was able to pull out of his stall right away. I was a little bit concerned he might have got a speeding penalty because there was some tire lockup, as it looks like Derek Heitman going to overshoot his stall a little bit there. But when those two drivers came down pit road, I was just as surprised as you were there, Morrison. It was an aggressive entry, a little bit of tire lockup, which can be disastrous, but they got it wound up in time, and it did indeed open the floodgates. You can see pit road is a busy place at this point in time. We've got Andrew Dyson coming down pit road.
Whoa. Bobby Anderson, sideways, getting into the pits. He got it covered. Was he slowed down, though? I don't see a black flag for him. But, oh, man, almost into the sand barrels. Pulled a Larson there, Andre, as you were talking. Sorry to interrupt you, but that got pretty hairy for the 5 car there.
Yeah, he did. I mean, that was, you don't get much closer than that unless your name is Cody Bird, in which case you're in those barrels. Yeah, that was a close call. He was able to keep it under control and luckily did not bring out a caution. It wasn't on the racing surface, but there were some cars pretty close, so that would have been the first for cause. Everybody else continuing to come down pit road, get their cars serviced, and curious to see this time, you know, who takes that longer run strategy, as so many, Anderson, Dyson, Hobson, all these drivers have come down pit road, but the leaders, Miller, Delaney, Hoytsma, Benefield, Murray, these drivers have not come down pit road. Now, DeCiani, this is where it gets interesting, Damaris. I think DeCiani was close enough to Hoytsma that depending on how long he stays out, he may be able to cycle out ahead of Hoytsma, maybe even right along with Delaney here. But then he's going to have to play some serious defense, and he's going to have to do it on old tires, which is never ideal. And, you know, we've seen drivers try to hold out on old tires already today, and it just doesn't seem to work out. So it's a bit of a bold call, but sometimes if you're the underdog, if you're not quite there on pace, you got to do what. Look at that! Look at the old tires.
Yeah. So looking at the lap times here, so he's about a second faster, or over a second faster is DeCiani. So he's running 27.5s. The leaders are running 28.8s and 28.9s that last lap by. So here's what's going to happen. I believe he was about I forget what it was, maybe 5 seconds or something like that behind the leaders when he pit and came down pit road. So that's DeCiani. So what that means is that's about how many laps, because it's about a second a lap they're losing. So that's about how many laps they'll have in coverage time for the undercut. So Delaney, once you get about 7, 8, 9 laps out from when DeCiani pit, then you're at risk for going behind him on track. Now you'll have a massive tire advantage once you come out. But track position is key, man, and you might be able. It's a long time to fight tooth and nail. DeCiani has looked like that's his only way to get to that championship, so he's going to try to do that. But it's not only DeCiani you got to watch for. Remember, he came down with Patrick Gitter, so he's being escorted by his teammate. So it's not one car you have to contend with if you get behind him on the track. It is 2 cars you have to contend with for the 4 car that you're going to have to get around to take that back off of him if that happens on the cycle. So as we watch down on the screen here, so the 6th car is on pit road. So he has made his stop and looks like he's coming back out and out into the dog leg. So and Alex Murray as well looked like he's coming out or coming to his pit as well.
So Delaney's getting his jack stand up, and that's going to be 4 fresh tires. It's going to be the money stop. I mean, presumably, as long as we stay green, this is going to be the final time down pit road this season for a lot of these guys. Now, this is the moment of truth. DeCiani gets around Murray. He gets around Delaney. So where is he going to cycle out when Miller comes out of the pits? I believe he will be far away ahead of Miller and Hoytsma. Man, oh man, this is going to be interesting because that is going to be the most stressful game of defense I think Luciani's ever going to have to play. Like you said, huge tire advantage. He's going to go to the cars behind, but it's been tough to pass. I mean, John Delaney, when he got out front, he was the fastest car. He pulled away. Nobody could get around him. When Robert Miller gets out front, he pulls away. Nobody can get around him. It's not so much about the setup or the speed of the tires. I think that clean air is a huge advantage. And I mean, you know, I want to ask you, Damaris, I mean, you've driven this track. How much of a difference does the aero make being out front? Do you think it might be enough for DeCiani?
Gargantuan advantage is the clean air, and that's exactly what he's playing at. So that's one thing we have not seen DeCiani is in clean air as he inherits the lead. So right now, if the race were to end and the meteor were to strike the earth, he would be your 100% Cup champion. But we know Delaney is going to be coming, so he has about a 1.3 second advantage. But yeah, as you're talking about, Carlos, he has the clean air, and again, he has the driver escort as well. But not only that, he didn't quite get out in front of him. So I was checking back to see if Benefield also got in front of Delaney. That would be 3 cars between Delaney and the championship. But right now, it's just Gitter and DeCiani. Again, we're assuming, making a lot of assumptions here, that Gitter's going to do all the defending he can as well to make sure that he keeps DeCiani out in front, as those are 2 aligned teams. Kind of your neutral man in the middle there is Andrew Dyson, who cycles out in 3rd. But Delaney already trying to make the move on, trying to catch Andrew Dyson to make the move on him. And also Andrew Dyson's caught DeCiani and Gitter. So here we go. The fresh tires already having an effect. DeCiani running 27.7s, and Dyson behind them already a tenth faster, running 27.6 that time by, and now falls down to about a 27.7. So very comparable pace as John Delaney here has already back up into the top 4. So all 4 under a blanket. Again, right now, your championship for DeCiani is out front. Delaney trying to hunt him down to get back in front to put his hands around that Cup trophy. Hoytsma and Murray, kind of the big losers, no really gains there. Hoytsma, who was running up in about the top 4 or so, is back down into your 9th position, and Alex Murray continues to fall down through the field slowly but surely. So that car not handling the way he wants. As we watch John Delaney on screen, calm, cool, and collected, out braking the 21 down into turn 3, and pulls up to the rear end of DeCiani. So not much that 21 seems to be able to do. Let's see if he can defend on the front through the dog leg. They go 2 by 2 as they're going to duck off into turns 1 and 2.
Oh, here he goes. A little bit of contact there to the quarter panel of the floor. I think that number 4, DeCiani, has no choice but to concede a little bit there. It's going to be a drag race down into 3 and 4. DeCiani's going to have to drive it in hard if he wants to keep it, but he is going to get on the brakes. That is going to allow John Delaney to take the point. The number 6 car leading the race and the championship as they go side by side for 3rd place behind him. Andrew Dyson, Patrick Gitter going to go down into turn 1. Dyson's got the preferred lane, but he does have a little bit of a roadblock ahead on older tires. I think that's why a lot of these guys migrated to the top, and it looks like Patrick Gitter going to concede down into 4th. But right now, that number 4, DeCiani, is proving to be a bit of a roadblock. Dyson doing everything he can to try to get around him. He looks high, looks low, can't quite make it happen. And while this is all happening, there goes John Delaney driving off into the sunset with Robert Miller. I would say the only real competition in terms of pace for Delaney, way far back there. He is currently 1.6 seconds, and Lucas Hoytsma all the way back in 7th place, 5 seconds back for the championship. So running order getting jumbled up quite a bit here with this green flag cycle. Everything topsy-turvy, but it all plays out in the favor of John Delaney, who now has a 2nd over Dyson.
Yeah, as you see in the YouTube chat, Mitchell Horn rooting for his guy, Matt DeCiani, was unable to keep the lead there. So the pit strategy call worked. It got him what they needed. It got him track position, but the tire advantage too much to overcome for the 4 car. So he slides back down into 3rd now as Andrew Dyson also gets around him. So the convoy of Patrick Gitter unable to stop the surge of John Delaney. That's 6th stint Analyzer Chevrolet. And like I said, up the road he goes, already 1.2 seconds away from his nearest competitor here, 1.6 from Matt DeCiani. So only 43 laps to go here in the stage. So we're working lap 270 of going to lap 312. So these guys are going to need a caution. Looks like we know that John Delaney has the short pace and the long run. So the only hope they really had was maybe putting him in dirty air and putting a teammate between them. That did not work. Price is averted for the 6 car, but more work to do for that 4 machine of Matt DeCiani riding in 3rd.
It was a bold effort. You got to applaud it, but unfortunately, the clean air, as you put it, gargantuan advantage. But I guess the difference in tire wear is just a little bit too much. There goes Robert Miller on the outside of DeCiani now, so not quite able to defend that position either. 2 seconds now, the gap between Delaney and Miller. This is playing out great for Delaney because all these cars that Robert's having to drive through are going to check him up inherently. Meanwhile, John has no lap traffic, nobody to really worry about. So he's on a Sunday drive, like you said, just reading a good book on a Saturday up there, and he's just having a good time. Meanwhile, Miller's kind of fighting for his life out here, trying to get around Dyson. And how about Dyson? Again, top 5 all day, and now played the strategy really well. He's currently on the podium and really not off pace for Miller. He's turning lap times that are pretty similar. I mean, Miller's a little bit quicker here and there, but it's not going to be easy for Miller to get around him. He's going to have to work for that. So great run for that 0-4 machine.
Yeah, let's take a look back here in 10th place. I'm watching a battle here, Andre, that Van der Sant, Heitman, and I think Anderson or Seminario. Sorry, these three have been swapping back and forth, trading positions, and of course, as I say that, they start to single file out. But I was worried they were going to make some contact there between Heitman and Van der Sant. Yeah, they were racing pretty tight door to door there. They were all over each other.
Yeah, the 76 put the bumper to Johan there. And, I mean, he didn't really have much of a choice because he had Robert breathing down his neck as well. Bobby Anderson was really forcing the issue, and I think that's kind of playing into the aggression we're seeing out of Heitman. But I'll tell you one thing about Johan. He is aggressive, and he is very good at parking the bus. He's kind of the Ryan Newman of another league that I commentate, and he's kind of known for being difficult to pass. And so Heitman may have a faster car right now, but that doesn't really mean anything because that car is going to be real wide in front of him. He's going to have to use every lane he can. And behind him, I mean, the battling even better. Van der Sant, Murray side by side.
Yeah, Murray finally making some room up there, finally making his way forward.
Oh, into the wall a little bit goes Heitman. But yeah, 5 cars under a blanket. We're trading positions back and forth. Now Bobby Anderson into the wall. That opens the door big time. Here comes Alex Murray. He's going to pick up a position. That'll put him up into, I believe, P10. Yep. He's going to crack back into the top 10. And all that battling back there has allowed Heitman and Johan to pull away just a little bit. But not for long, because look how deep Murray's going to drive into the corner. He is closing that gap big time. And again, it's going to be a 3-car battle here for 7th place.
Yeah, Prodigy eSports, so a little bit of an escort here going for Alex Murray. So he has his teammate, Derek Heitman, who pulls over for him, who will let him by. So no challenge coming from the 76 as he lets the 22 go off to hunt the cars in front of him. Again, Alex Murray kind of needing a little bit of a miracle here to get him, I believe, 9 seconds up the road as Lanny and DeCiani are way, way ahead here. As you can see the battle, as he dives up under Seminario, so close, not much room there between the 01 and the 22, but just enough that they avoid contact. He's going to keep the show. No, outbreaking the 01 and going to pull the slide job. Nope, keeps it on the bottom. But I think a switch over coming here from the 01. So Seminario, as you mentioned, not a slouch himself, one of the fast guys here in 100% Cup Series. I think one of the few to get through on one tryout race alone. Most guys will run multiple races in D2. But he had such a good showing. I believe it was at Gateway, actually racing with Prodigy eSports. So I think it was Murray and Heitman he was racing there. But proved he could race side by side and knew what he was doing, and he was approved right away, and then raced in that 100% Cup race in his debut. So, but yeah, absolutely talented driver in multiple series. Again, I think I watched, I think it's SSRL that you also commentate on, but a very highly skilled driver in that series as well that we catch occasionally here on PTR TV, I believe they still broadcast on. So, but yeah, Seminario, again, accomplished driver here in sim racing and leagues across the service. Is not easy guy to get around as he makes a little bit of contact there with the wall, as now he has fallen into the clutches of Heitman. So now they will continue to battle here for your 9th position.
Yeah, these guys really not letting each other get away. And I'll tell you what, right now, Alex Murray, he's pulling away from that field, and he is driving the wheels off that thing. I saw him get squirrely out of turn 4 with the right rear quarter panel to that safer barrier. Didn't really lose any time, but it's a big indicator of how hard he is pushing that car because he knows the laps are winding down. We're on 281 out of 312. So we're looking at just a little over 30 laps to go. That's going to go by in the blink of an eye, ladies and gentlemen. And he's not looking good right now. He's all the way back in 8th. The championship contenders are pretty far up the road. John Delaney currently leading the race. And he's got the second half over Robert Miller, and that's 9 seconds difference between him and Murray. So he's got to go. I don't think he can run him down under green necessarily, but that's not going to stop him from trying. And he has really started to make some moves. Lucas Hoitzman now getting around Matt DiCianni for second in the championship, but those two still considerably far back from Adam Benefiel. This battle, though, continuing on. Johan Seminario going to have to do a little bit more defending. Not a scenario that he is not used to, but Derek Heitman actually going to slide up the track. There goes the number 12 of Nolan Hodgson. Now, Nolan is 2 laps down, but he's on considerably fresher tires, so he's going to play a little bit of a spoiler to this battle and to this party, and that helps Johan big time because that gives him separation from Heitman and from Bobby Anderson, who's been able to rebound from that little bit of a wall tap he had earlier. 12 car gets around, the battle's back on. Look at Heitman down to the yellow line. He's going to try to get to the quarter panel, slides up, and stays right at the bumper. Bobby Anderson waiting in the wings if anything were to go awry. But this is some great battling here mid-pack.
Yeah, the 0176 continue to go at it here. So here's the situation. 29 laps to go. We're working 284 here of 312. The Coben Johnson Championship Saturday race here at 100% Cup Series. This is all for all the marbles. John Delaney back out in front, doing everything he needs to do to retain or to get his second championship here in the 100% Cup Series as we watch this battle on screen. Meanwhile, the mid-pack, no inch given, no quarter given. These guys are racing for everything they can get. So Derek Heitman maybe letting his tires cool off here after going side by side and doing battle with the 01 of Johan Seminario. But you're right. I think, look, he has the mid-corner speed, but that doesn't make a whole lot of difference if Seminario can just park the bus on him. He's going to have to find an advantage either on entry or on exit to get around this 01 car. And I'm kind of shocked that has to. Oh, as they make contact in the 176 are into the wall. Caution is out. I think I just heard an engine explode. So hard racing comes to an end as the 76 and 01 make contact. You see 01 on screen. So dejected and disappointed there at what happened. He's unable to move. So it looks like that car has been disabled. So caution is out on lap 286 with 27 to go. Decisions will be made here, Andre, of who's taking tires and who's not. As we see cars already ducking down to the pit road, all the leaders
after pit stops.
Are coming down for fresh tires. So pit stops underway here under caution.
Now, because we haven't had very many cautions for cause, and that is to say none up until this point, the driver should have an excess amount of tires on the other side of the wall. It shouldn't be that much of a decision. I think everybody's going to take tires, and it should be a bit of a dash to the end, but this is going to be something. Miller now has a bit of renewed opportunity, starting alongside John Delaney, and as does Andrew Dyson, who was running back there in third. So it's going to be chaos on this restart. These guys are going to be driving, giving it everything they have, like you said, Damaris, for all the marbles. This is it. Especially
did DiCianni take two? Did DiCianni take two?
No,
He's moving up the order. I think he might have took 2 tires.
10.12 second pit stop.
I believe that is 2 seconds or 2 tires if that's a 10-second stop. So that is incredible. What a strategy play there. Again, the risk taker, man, he's gambling it all tonight, Damaris.
Man, that's what we want to see from my guy, man. That's my pick. He didn't expect to be here, right? This is all gravy here. As we watch a 3-wide TV replay of what happened, as looks like Seminario just washed up going through 1 and 2 there. And so not a whole lot that DiCianni could do. Look, they were racing side by side and with about an inch between them virtually on the racetrack. So I'm sure he didn't expect him to wash up a little bit. But that's just what I see from there. Let's get another look at it. It looks like Seminario just could not hold the bottom there. Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe Heitman came down a little bit. That's interesting. Maybe we need to get a glimpse shot of that if we can. It's a little hard to now that I take that second look at it, Andre. I don't know. What do you see there?
Well, it might have just been 2 cars going for the same real estate. One was kind of drifting up, one was kind of drifting down, and unfortunately not clear. Going to the super slow-mo here on 3-wide TV. I mean, Johan definitely was going up a little bit.
It was like naturally going up.
Down. That was just that was a racing incident right there. I mean,
yeah, 2 cars in one spot.
I know the fans hate that term, but I mean, it really is. I mean, it's 2 cars driving aggressive, and mistakes were made. I can't put that on either one of them.
Yeah. Again, 2 cars, 1 spot. Again, hard racing. Look, they were going after it there for that 9th position, I think it was. So we watched them for a few laps. So, but man, what about the like I said, the big balls call here from Matt DiCianni, big DiCianni energy, as Kevin Steele would say, rearing its head here at Phoenix. So he will be on the front row starting with John Delaney. So interesting to in this series, we do have the front rows able to pick what lane they want to start in with one to go. So interesting if Delaney will pick the outside or the bottom.
Inside.
Taking the inside. Yep. So he is inside as we start to stack up some wave rounds, heading around to the other side of the track now. There's several lap cars taking the wave around here. So we think 2 tires on that Ford machine of DeCiani. So he will try one last time to what he can get out of John Delaney. So, man, this is going to get hectic. 24 to go. It's go time. There's no more waiting. There's no more patience. If you can get it now, you got to get it. You got to have it. So we may see some action here heating up as pace car ducks off, and they will now be under control of the 6 car as they come down towards the restart zone. Again, restart zones are not used in the series, but that is about the marker where most guys will go as they get into their start gears into turn 3 and 4 as they watch side by side, 4 car in the 6. Gitter and Dyson on your second row. Benefield Hoyts on your third row. We're under green, and Delaney is off. Good start by the 6 car. He will cut down through the dog leg and take that all the way down to the bottom. And we'll see if DeCiani can hold on to second place or even make some gains here. Has someone on the apron there in 3 and 4. So trying to use some of that race service truck style on the restart lap here as we work lap 290. So 23 laps to go as we're down the backstretch in contact between cars there. I can't make out who they is. I think that's Van.
The 07 hit the outside wall. 83 reacted and tapped the 96. But it's all good though.
Yep. So Alex Murray, Hoytsma, all making contact there as we go down into 1 and 2.
Contact! Championship contenders!
Oh, more contact!
Can they save it? Oh, I don't think they saved it. Oh, my goodness.
Yep, they all saved it.
So green. We're still no caution. Green. We stay green. Oh, more contact in the backstretch.
And we're still green. We're driving for all the marbles here, but man, what a save there. I believe that was the 22 of Murray somehow gathering that machine up. I mean, he couldn't get much more sideways there, waving to the infield fans, but unfortunate break here late into this race for a championship contender. That restart was looking to be a good opportunity for him, and unfortunately, the chaos just kind of bit him in a bad way, and Lucas Hoytsma as well, 2.2 seconds back from John Delaney. Robert Miller, I don't know what went wrong on his pit stop there. He lost a lot of track position. He's back in 11th. Let's take a look at the incident here. Try and break down exactly what happened with that 22 of Murray.
Oh, this is
just a little bit of contact there from Lucas.
That's an insane save.
I can't believe. I mean, how do you do that? I can't believe he brought that thing back around while getting hit again, DeMars. I mean, he got hit a second time.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys have figured out. So similar to real life NASCAR is just checking in on your battle. Matt DeCiani is about a second back, so he's starting to lose ground. He did for the first few laps stay about a half a tenth away from John Delaney as they go back side by side and look back in the field. So this Hornets Nets has not calmed down yet. Sion O'Brien Jr., Lucas Hoytsma trying to get around him in your 6th position. He's trying to get up there for the lead to put himself in position if something happens that he can take advantage. These cars are 2x2 here in the back. But yeah, man, look, the guys have kind of figured out like real life NASCAR. If you're getting turned to the left, right, with the way these cars are set up, mechanical grip and the aero platform is don't counter steer. It'll straighten itself back out. So if you have enough time to let it do that, it usually will point itself in the right direction. If you counter steer, then you're going to nose first into that safer barrier. So it looks like a little bit of that. Someone that's mastered their vehicle there, of Alex Murray, knowing what to do and saving that car from going into the wall. As we got more racing and more contacts, 3 wides briefly as they door each other to 24 here as Lucas Hoytsma finally does make some room and get around the cars, and Alex Murray here racing. But looks like they're going to go 3 wide again here into 3 and 4. Yes, they do. So looks like Sean OBJ or Patrick Gitter on the bottom. Sean OBJ is sandwich in the middle, but 3 don't really work off of 2. Let's see if they can hold it together. They do. A little bit of contact. That's going to be another caution. SOBJ caution is out on the track. So tight racing on the back of the 3. Do not go off of turn 2. It's so hard to maintain the space. There's so little drive off grip there. So we got another caution. They're breeding each other here. Caution breeding caution with 16 to go here at the Coben Johnson Championship Saturday race here at Phoenix.
Yeah, things have definitely heated up towards the end. It was so calm, and I kind of wondered, back in stage 2 and stage 1, I was like, is this the calm before the storm? And well, it absolutely was. Going back, taking a look at the replay. So into the wall went Murray, and then that kind of set off a chain reaction where the 24 got involved. I believe that's Robert Miller having to come to a halt there, a little bit of contact, and yeah, it just was a bit of a domino effect there off the safer barrier, and a little bit of an abrupt move. Murray could not catch a break there. He was driving like a man possessed. He was either going to go to the front or he was going to the junkyard, one way or the other. But he was making up a lot of time, doing a really good job wheeling that thing, and then unfortunately had that incident. And honestly, looking at that camera angle, Damaris, I don't think Alex Murray's that damaged. I think he can continue on. It's not over yet necessarily for that 20.
He's in pit road though.
He is on pit road.
Yep, in the pits. Yeah, look, we know. Look, for Hoytsman and Murray, we're down the field, right? You're half of your championship 4. There is no tomorrow, right? You got to hang it all out. There's no more lift for those cars. But you got to know that too if you're racing. If you're SOBJ, if you're Bobby Andrews, you're these cars. You got to know that, right? These guys are not. It's all or nothing for them. Yeah, you're racing for your 8th, your 9th, 10th, but these guys are racing for a championship. So they're going to go for a spot they usually wouldn't. It looks like someone looks like that from that camera angle. That gap was there for so short, and I guess SOBJs did not expect him to go for it. But just in the time it was open, in that split second, he was able to get a nose there between him and the wall before Sean O'Brien Jr. could close the door on him. So, again, yeah, just hard racing incident here as we got more cars on pit road. So Alex Murray is now pulling off after coming to his pit crew. But, hey, a reset from Matt DiCianni. Again, he was able to hold on to John Delaney for just a little bit there at the beginning of the run. So with 14 to go, we're going to get a nice little heat cycle on the tires. They'll cool off a little bit, and it's kind of another reprieve at life. As he's going to try to go again and see if he can make some gains here on the 6th. If he can get him behind him, anything's possible, right? So if you can get side by side on the 6th and get him out of position, hey, just like you saw there, look, anything can happen. And once we get the closer, here's another thing to keep in mind: the closer we get to that checker flag, that puts you in the spaces to get into green-white checkers. If we get to overtimes in this race on championship day with championship 4 competitors this close together, I think we're using all 3 of those green-white checkers today, which means you only got to stay ahead for maybe half a lap before you get a caution. That's what I'd be banking on if I'm Matt DiCianni. So it's critical. It's crucial. You have to get around the 6 car however you can do it. There are no more pit stops, right? You can't lose the track position. You got what you got. So you got to figure it out, right? That's the problem you got to solve in the seat of the car with your team around you. What can you do if you're the 4 car to get around the 6, and vice versa? If you're in the 6 car, what do I need to do to keep this 4 car behind me? It's been whatever you've been doing has been working. So I would expect more of the same. So we'll see here as they start to stack up here and the lights will go off on the pace car, how it will be played here on the restart.
One also interesting thing to note is because of how many cars are a lap down, Alex Murray was able to stay on the lead lap. He pitted to repair that damage. He got 4 fresh tires, and he's going to be restarting in 13th. So that's row 7, which is quite a ways back, but he is going to have slightly fresher tires than everybody in front. So we'll see if he can drive like a man possessed again. If we're going to have any more trouble, maybe that's where it's going to transpire from. But
a good point as we go to the backstretch. So your top 6 competitors, 14 lap old tires. Alex Murray, 3 lap old tires. So or 2 lap old tires. He's just gone on pace lap. So that's something to watch. That's a significant enough. Maybe he can make it up to the front of the field.
He could. I mean, he's not that far back. We'll have to wait and see. John Delaney getting a really good jump there on the restart. That's the second good jump that John's got so far.
Oh, spinner back!
DiCianni. Oh my goodness, caution again.
There it is, late caution. There he goes. Caution out. Pace car's coming back on the track. DiCianni unable to get in front. But yeah, the 41 car here having some trouble. Looks like I hear some apologies on the radio as well. It looks like his car is pretty tore up there, so unable to keep going in a straight line. So hey, look, this is what we talked about a second ago. DiCianni just has to find a way around John Delaney. But that's going to be hard with Delaney in control of the field because he has to react to Delaney. He can't go before. 3-wide TV replay on the screen. As that a self-spin?
Whoa!
Oh no, more contact. Oh, that
I think this was the caution.
Yeah, I think caution flag because it was a delayed caution for that initial spin. That's what I was seeing early in the live replay. But yeah, so yes, multiple incidents, but brings out your caution here.
I think this
too much beans.
So yeah, Chokefield, a little bit of overly aggression on the throttle there, if I can learn to speak English. But then we have this right here, which goes back to what we said earlier about the spatial awareness. When you cut that dog leg, it's so hard to tell. I mean, that was just a broadside hit, and I don't think either of those drivers knew that the other one was there. So I mean, when you have these 4, 5, 6 wide fan out restarts here, and the spotter does not work on iRacing when you're not on the racing surface, and none of the dog leg counts. And I'll tell you what, I think the car on the top was getting
Yeah, he was loose
already. So that was just a bad situation.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier.
And
Yeah, I mentioned earlier in the race, like when you're below that dogleg like that, you don't necessarily get the spotter calls that you normally get on the racing surface, right? That's just kind of a gap in some of the third-party tools and even the iRacing spotter, right? Is if you're below that, the spotter just won't tell you, hey, someone's below you, right? So, although he was getting loose there, but that's something that that spatial awareness you talk about. If you don't have triples, Andre, you only have the single screen. It's hard to see those guys, and you just may not know.
Very true. And one thing I want to mention here too is in the 3 seconds that we were green, Alex Murray gained 2 positions. So put him in 11th as opposed to 13th, which is going to be a little bit closer to the front. Again, still has that fresh tire advantage, although he'll have less laps to work with, as we are going to be going green with probably 8 to go, coming to 7. But either way, he is moving towards the front, and you can't necessarily count him out. And every single caution we get here is also good for DeCiani, because when Delaney speeds up, heats those tires up, and then pulls them back off, it's putting cycles through those tires. That advantage Delaney has over DeCiani is going to fade. And DeCiani doesn't necessarily need to be the faster car. He just needs to get a good restart and get aggressive with John. Either move him out of line or get in front of him and park the bus. It's going to be something. I don't think this race is said and done. Not yet.
Yeah, you're right. Look, yeah, I think DeCiani is going to have to. You're right. Look. I think Delaney's going to get the start off of him. As we watch, looks like we got
Murray just getting some more
Murray
damage
still
up
on
there.
pit road. Yep. So we not
Green this time by.
Okay, so this time by. So lights are out on the face cam. Okay. So we'll go around one more time here. On the track as Alex Murray gets some more damage fixed. Again, he will have the fresher tires here. Actually, he just took another new set, so now he only has 1 lap on him to the 20 laps on the guys up front. Again, about 4 of those laps were caution laps, so really about 16 to 15 green flag laps for Delaney and DeCiani. But yeah, you're right, Andre. To go back to that, he's going to have to get the best start he can, be as close to Delaney as he can. He's going to have to bring out the bumper and drive it in deep because we know that Delaney can step off pretty quick here. And Delaney got to know that too. Right? I'm sure they may have the stream up. He's going to have Delaney's going to have to make sure those first couple corners, maybe he's driving a little bit deeper than he wants to stay away from the 4 car. As the pace car is back on pit road as we work our way towards the restart zone. And going early again is John Delaney. So another good start. Good start again for Lowe's. Another spin out in the back.
Yellow flag.
Unable to see who that is. Yep. Van de Sant. Yep. So big car DeSanta going around just after the finish line, just before the start-finish line there in the dog leg. So here we go. The cycle has started. We should be back green, so I don't think we'll extend to a green-white checker this time but the next caution will be in overtime. We go to a 3-wide TV replay to see what happened here. Is it just the same? It was the same thing happened again. Is it just too much beans, or was there contact or help that we got?
Yep, too much beans.
Nope. Yep, just too much beans. So one thing these guys haven't had to do, again, as you said, we haven't had cautions for cause, Andre. So these guys haven't had green flag or restarts on tires with cycles on them, right? And that's catching a few of these guys out as they're trying to get that launch off into turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, especially when you consider there is quite a bit of banking there where they're going to be restarting. So when you get on the throttle, that banking kind of naturally points you down the track and gets you a little bit loose, and it does definitely happen. And then once you hit that transition from the dog leg down to the flat apron, that's going to unsettle the car even further. So it is something they were a little bit inexperienced with this race because they didn't have to do it, like you said. And now they're having to do these restarts on old tires that aren't really cooperating that much. And John Delaney's probably just sitting there smacking the steering wheel thinking, come on, guys, let's just get this one done. Let's get it finished up. Because he knows that every restart is another chance for DeCiani to make a lunge at it. And again, I mean, if DeCiani gets a good restart and he puts the bumper to Delaney, can you even blame him? I mean, I know I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, that's not all he has to worry about. Look, that order has recycled up. So look who's behind or be starting behind John Delaney is Adam Benefield. We know Adam Benefield. Look, again, 2021 champion here in the series, won several races. He wants this checkered flag. Again, he's in that Jimmy Strong golden black car, right? So he's trying to do it for Coben here as he can get another win here at Phoenix. Again, that very emotional and triumphant win he had in 2021 where the whole Team Conti squad came together to try to get him that championship. for Copeland, what time was still in this fight. But yeah, look, that's someone to watch. So Delaney doesn't only have to worry about DeCiani. You got to worry about a couple more of these guys. We know Dyson's quick on the short run. We know Benefield's going to do what he has to do to try to get that checkered flag. And that may come to DeCiani's benefit, may be to his harm if they get caught up at the front. So Delaney's going to have to think about a whole lot of cars here as he comes to start-finish lines. We riding with Adam Benefield, who looks like he's all hyped
just
up,
having
getting
fun.
a little chirpy. Yeah, getting a little chirpy on the radio, so he's ready to go here. Like still in pace car, so we're cycling around again. But also some other beneficiaries of all these cautions, right? Are the lucky dogs. So we've had a couple go through. I think next in line, if we get another caution, will be Dustin Hall to go in the lead lap. So I think he's currently in the lucky dog position as we're waiting to get going back on the green here. But yeah, a whole lot that Delaney has to worry about. Again, Alex Murray has that tire advantage, but again, he's out of time to use it. I mean, I think these cautions kind of sapped. He needed that kind of 14 lap run or 16 lap run to go ahead green. So these cautions kind of dampened that. So he has quite a bit, 11 cars to get through. I don't think that's quite possible. I don't even think you could Hail Melon your way around the wall to get that many positions. So
Joe, what's the card, Dustin? Somebody scream at Dustin, show off the card.
Lucas Hoitzma is Dustin on screen there in the Jimmy Strong gold and white machine. And Lucas Hoitzma, again, your other championship 4 competitor.
Here it comes.
There it is.
Trying.
Here we go.
It's right there.
Get it. Oh.
That is a.
It's heavy. It looks.
In case it's a little bit blurry on the stream there for viewers, that is a custom Jimmy Strong die cast with all of the Jimmy Strong decals that was given to Jimmy and then given to Dustin. So amazing to see. He's got it on display there on the camera. We're headed in to the final restart. It's going to have to be another good one for John. Like you said, he's got the 83 who was kind of laughing and getting chirpy on the radio, and that is usually when Adam's dangerous. When Adam's happy, he's dangerous. So we'll see what we can do. Not as good of a jump there for Delaney. Adam Benefield able to stay within 3 or 4 car lengths as we are, I think, going to get through the dog leg successfully. And here we go, lap 3:11 out of 3.
Oh no, 22 involved.
Trouble in back, Alex Murray. It looks like Miller might have been, he went high too, maybe to avoid that. So more issues in the back. So this will be your first, we'll extend into overtime, your first green-white checker. And I believe that Benefield got that position away from Delaney. We're watching kind of the mid-pack there, but I think Benefield might have snatched that away. So now DeCiani might be lined up behind John Delaney, which is actually a better position. Now you can keep an eye on him and go exactly when he goes, as opposed to looking to your left and trying to gauge or listen to the engine noises of when he pulls out. It's 3Y TV replay on screens. You see what happened here further back in the pack. Oh, cars just collide there as they come up from the dog leg, and I think that is Alex Murray again.
Yeah.
Caught up. So the 22 machine just in the pinball machine. So contact with the car below, goes up into the car above, and around he goes.
He was just trying.
Nothing he could do would be. Yep. Again, on the fresher tires, trying to make his way up through the field. Again, doing what he has to do, right? He's one of your championship 4, trying to make his way through the field. It didn't work out that time, and he will find himself back at the tail end of the lap unexpected.
Yeah, it's going to be rough to try and at least salvage anything out of that. Again, we're so late in the race that, I mean, I understand the aggression out of Murray here. I understand why he's pushing the car so hard, because he knows time's not on his side. All he's got is tires, and all he can do is try to drive as long as he possibly can. But it's tough to do. You know, you're in the Hornet's nest. Drivers are 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide, and the spotter's not exactly doing his job here on iRacing. So it's tough, but unfortunately, that is probably going to be the end of Murray's playoff hopes, and unless something miraculous happens. Which, I mean,
He's still there.
Given the year that Cam Stone got the championship, I mean, we've seen crazier things, huh, Demars?
Yep. Speaking of Cam Stone, in the chat here, good to see you here, champ. So the 2020 champion riding on board with us in the YouTube chat with comment. Alex forgot this wasn't a go-kart race. So Alex Murray is on the weekend warrior here. So you'll find him on most Saturdays at the go-kart track around Concord, Charlotte, North Carolina. So real life race team for the 22. Also a new dad. I think Haley was in the chat earlier. So a little newborn at home. So the family watching and cheering on the 22 machine. So he is in Grant Enfinger mode and hoping to be able to drive through the field in a very short amount of time. So that's where his situation is. Again, DeCiani will be lining up behind Delaney in third position when the lights go out on the pace car. And Lucas Hoytsma is in sixth, so he'll be a couple rows back. Again, he'll be trying to make his way up very quickly and maybe take advantage of anything that goes wrong or awry up in front of him. But also got Nick Stein in the chat here as well. So looks like Adam's hairline is the balding bullet, as he was coined in IROC Series last year. Again, looking to get a checkered flag here. Again, can't win a championship, but maybe looking to get a checkered flag here and do it for Jimmy. So yeah, but that's the situation, man. We know what they got to do. The gauntlet's been thrown. The guys out in the back, everyone's racing for every inch they can get. And again, Murray is he's gonna be back on the charge in 14th. Again, he only has 3 laps to get it done, but he has to go. Hoytsman has to go, and we know DeCiani. He has to get the perfect start and reaction time to John Delaney. You got to try to send him. You got to try to just nudge him out of the way if you get into 1 and 2. I'd imagine 1 and 2 is the place you want to do it because that'll be hardest to recover. But 3 and 4, if you send him up the track as well, it's hard to avoid that wall once you get put offline. So, but the question will be, can he get to him? Because we know how quick that 6-stint analyzer Chevrolet is. Or does Benefield play a role? Does he play spoiler here? So he'll be in the DeCiani position. He has to react to the 6 car as the pace car ducks off in 1 and 2, and we're on the long ride to the restart zone as the guys get ready to gear up here on lap 315, and we'll be going to 317 here with the green white checker unless we get another caution.
We know what they have to do. They know what they have to do. The only question is, what will they do coming to the first green white checker? Hopefully, the last green white checker. John Delaney has the Jimmy Strong Chevrolet to his outside. John, I think the field is getting wise to his tricks. He didn't get quite as far away that time. He's going to duck down, cut the dog leg as much as he can. Hope that they get down into turn 1 clean. If they do, he's got a pretty solid advantage. The number 4, Matt DeCiani, is going to slide up in front of Benefield, take second place. Now, if they can get to the white flag, then the race is official. Whatever the next flag is will end the race. John Delaney 3 car lengths ahead of Matt DeCiani. Coming through 3 and 4. This is going to be it to the white flag. It's one more circuit around Phoenix Raceway. Matt DeCiani trailing far enough back that he has to hope for a mistake out of John. But John, well on his way to becoming the first repeat champion in 100% Cup Series history, trying to close out his career here in this league with the ultimate victory this week, winning the race and the championship. John Delaney through 3 and 4 for the final time is going to see the checkered flag, and that number 6 car is going to victory lane once again.
Yep, John Delaney, your championship. They wreck across the line. I saw Jim Schofield get sideways. DeCiani unable, so 7/10 back, unable to really close the gap there. Couldn't get to the back of John Delaney.
Whoa!
And he will be your first 2-time champion in 100% Cup Series history. The number 6 car, John Delaney, the fuel pig himself, as we call him here in the series, will burn it down here as he is triumphant and your 2023 100% Cup Series champion. As he gets congratulations over the radio, he'll head down to the start-finish line and burn it down and begin the celebration. So good on John Delaney, our championship, all of our championship competitors, as he gets the congratulations from several guys here, 24, and Matt DeCiani paying their respects to the newly crowned champion. So John Delaney goes back-to-back, is now 2-time champion of the 100% Cup Series as he does donuts and burns it down at the start-finish line.
He is going to make sure there is nothing left of those tires or the motor. Might be pulling a Darrell Waltrip here. Make sure that thing expires, because that thing was a rocket ship. He's going to try to do a bit of a burnout down through turns 3 and 4, see how long he can hold it. Looks like he's going to keep that burnout going. How far can he take it? Oh, he is sending her, buddy. He's going all the way back to the old start-finish line.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to get our post-race underway here in just a second. But John Delaney is celebrating his second championship, so going out here with a bang in the stint analyzer Chevrolet. Good on John Delaney. Again, he started with us back in 2020, the young high schooler, now graduated and young adult. Again, as Andre said earlier, matured a lot, has grown with us here. It's been a pleasure to watch his progress. Again, now racing for spots in the professional eSports and highest level here of iRacing. So he's making his way through the contender series to get to the 100%, the iRacing Coca-Cola iRacing series. So on his track there, but on the meantime, hey, got another championship under his belt here. And if I don't say myself, one of the hardest series you can run in. Again, this is a 9-month full length races, right? We do all 400, 500 miles every race. And at the end of that, the man left standing is the 6 car of John Delaney. But thanks everyone tuning in. So we got 29 viewers right now in the chat. If we could, we only got a few likes though. If you could just throw a like on the stream if you enjoyed the racing. It helps us out, and obviously get some spotlight here for your driver of choice. Is John Delaney pulled into victory lane there to celebrate his championship. So the sweep, as you mentioned, John Delaney getting it done, champion and winner here at Phoenix at the Coben Johnson champion or Saturday. Jesus,
Very good.
The Coben Johnson Championship Saturday here at Phoenix Raceway.
And luckily, Phoenix, one of the tracks where you can access victory lane, so we get this cool shot of the number 6 in a victory lane. I'm sure he is pretty excited to finish out his league racing career on top and really carry that momentum forward into the Coke Series. Although I think you were dropping some unannounced knowledge on us there, Demars. The 100% Coke Series? I don't know. I think that was just a bit of a Freudian slip. What do you got planned there, Demars?
Nothing, man. Just jumbled up here. Just excited for John, man. Congratulations to him. It's 9 months of work, man. Not only, obviously we organize this stuff, but the guys have to show up and they put all the work in, man. It's good to see him pull it off. So 2-time first in the league. Just happy for the young man. Again, this is all the things we talked about way back in 2020 he wanted to accomplish. Again, trying to get to the Coke Series and trying to get a championship here. He's pulling it all off, so he's just progressing. So it's a pleasure to see, man. It's pretty cool to see John Delaney getting all that done.
Absolutely, and like you said, one of the most difficult leagues you can run in. Not just the commitment, but the talent level. It's not like anybody can just show up and turn laps in this league and be a consistent member. You have to be clean. You have to be consistent, and the league has attracted so many drivers who are involved with pro teams and who are seriously dedicated to the simulator that it takes a lot, both from a commitment standpoint and a talent standpoint to compete. And John has proven himself to be the best twice now, which is, again, just a feat that has been unheard of until tonight. He is the first to do it. So who knows? Maybe in the future there will be more multi-time champs here at 100%, but John will always be the first. And that is a title that will be distinguished.
Yep, so we'll get underway here. If we can, I guess if we can get we'll go through the race results here real quick, just of the goings-on of the race and where guys finished here following the championship race here at Phoenix. And we will start to gather all of our guys for the interviews and get into the post-race. So as you know, John Delaney finishing in your first position here at Championship Saturday. So Matt DeCiani unable to kind of get it done. He'll get through a second place finish. Adam Benefield, who found himself up there up front, also unable to get it done, but comes away with a podium here tonight. Patrick Gitter in your fourth place position, followed by Andrew Dyson in fifth. Sean O'Brien Jr., look at that, making it up to the sixth place spot there. So good on Sean SOBJ for making it up to front of the grid there. And then followed by Robert Miller, who led a lot of stage one and was pretty comfortable with his car. We talked to him earlier in the race. He'll get seventh place finish. Lucas Hoytsma, one of your championship 4 competitors, really got mired down there in the back of the top 10, could not make his way forward at the end of the race. So he'll come home in your 8th position. In 9th is Alex Van Sant, Big Cardi Santa, who saw in a lot of trouble there. So pretty good recovery from having to be in the hornet's nest there. Nolan Hodgson will take away your top 10. So another top 10 for Nolan here, who's been pretty strong here at the end of the season. Just railing off those top 10s, setting himself up for potentially next season. Jim Schofield, also a good recovery drive, so he was kind of back in the 17th or so most of the race, but he worked his way back up to 11th position. Bobby Anderson in your 12th spot, and followed by Alex Murray in 13th. Again, ran into trouble there at the end. One of your championship 4 competitors, Tanner Marty, finishes in 14th. Dustin Hall in that gold Jimmy Strong Chevrolet that comes home in 15th after getting that lucky dog back on the lead lap. Jason S. Taylor, Jedi, comes home in 16th. Randy Drumhiller in 17th. Kyle Ammon in your 18th position there. And 19th was Derek Heitman. So he also ran into trouble. We saw him get caught up there at the end after having a good run. And then your cars that were parked here behind the wall. Johan Seminario, Jeff Chandler, Dalton Mobley, Wayne Grass, rounding out 23rd position. So that's the finishing order. Let's see if we can start to gather our guys here for their interviews. So we got John Delaney, we'll get Matt DeCiani. We'll kind of do the top 3, and I guess if we get, I don't know, might get to the rest of the top 4. We'll see what we want to do here. And kind of get into the presentation of our championship as well. So what we'll do is we'll get DeCiani in Benefield. And got John. All right, and we got them all ready to go. So we'll start with Benefield in 3rd position, and we'll work our way up to our presentation with John Delaney. So we'll bring Benefield into the booth. Adam Benefield, this is Damaris in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Adam, you found yourself running up front a lot of the race, but after all the cautions and mayhem happened at the end there, and cautions started breeding cautions, and guys started going around, you found yourself sitting in that 2nd position and then 3rd position, and almost with a chance to win there. Obviously not racing for a title, but looking to get that checkered flag. Just kind of walk us through how your race went and kind of what the mentality was at the end there when all the stuff started to kick off.
Started just like we always do, just kind of hanging out. Didn't really know what we had. What we had last night was just terrible, so went with something a little bit different, and it was pretty good. Was just riding, seeing what was going on, listening to the broadcast. You and Dirt were doing great, and then I don't know why, but like this race really, well, I know why this race means a lot, but I don't know why this happened, but it was like the car got better, and then when I started hearing Kylie talk, it was like gloves are off. I don't give a damn who is racing for a championship. Like, we're about to start going for it, and we started making headway, and I was pushing the car as hard as it would go, and I don't know, man. Something about, you know, this racetrack, and you got the Jimmy Strong car on, like, it brings out a different mindset to me. So was doing everything we can. It got to a point there at the end when I had the Alliance teammate Matty Ice up there. I didn't want to do anything to jeopardize his, because his chances. I was trying to play some psychological warfare with Delaney, and it didn't work. So I wasn't going to try to pull what Robert was doing. That was just dirty. But it was a good race.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that those gold ribbons probably worth a couple tenths there. So always good to see that. Yeah, we were rooting for you, man, up here in the booth. Again, we know that I mentioned it on the broadcast, all the work that went into the 2021 championship, and all the team coming around. So there's always that residue where you guys always run good here. So you're always a threat. Almost getting it done here, but not quite as you come home in 3rd place. Not a bad day all in all. So just kind of leave us with your thoughts on, obviously you were knocked out of the playoffs at the Roval, but look, after 9 months of effort and all 36 races or so, we've another tour with 100% Cup Series. Just kind of was your outlook on the season. Did you get accomplished what you wanted to get accomplished? Was it a good run? And are we looking for more next year?
Honest to God, I think this was the toughest year since I've joined the league. The competition was on another level. Delaney was on a whole nother level. I mean, he 110% deserved this championship. He was just fast all year. And I mean, we had good runs too. We kind of started off, we struggled. Had to work on it a little bit. We got it better throughout the season. We walked away with some wins. We got D-Shao win, and then we had a getter, and so we were strong. I think we could have been better, but it's a tough season, man. I mean, full length, 36 races. You got a mindset. It's a different mindset. So next year, I think we'll be even stronger. I'm really looking forward to it. There's some big things coming down the pipeline that I think will really shake up the sim racing world with Team Conti, and I'm looking forward to it. So can't wait to get 2024 going, but I need a couple weeks off. I'm not gonna lie.
Amen, brother. Don't we all? Well, good run on you. Good run on the race there, Adam. Good run on the season, man. Again, it's an honor watching you guys work. You're always one of the guys that you also look D2 champion, so not all lost. So I was able to close out that 36 race championship on the Fridays here and 100%. But great season, man. All in all, another good showing here at Phoenix. Congratulations on your third place finish.
I appreciate it. One more thing. That's hair. I don't know why y'all keep talking about my balding. That's hair right there, baby.
Yeah, but see the corners. I mean, you see all that skin you're touching on the corners there.
Hey, LeBron's got the same thing going, so it's gotta be good, right?
Yeah, but you see, he gets replaced every year though. We gotta get that down in Alabama for you, man. To get that. Nah, man, just having fun though. The teleprompter. Go ahead, Carlos. Fill it in the hairline. But now, always a fun time with you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us, and another good win this season, man. So congrats on that.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good off season.
All right, Benefield out of the booth. Gonna go ahead and pull in second place. Matt DiCiani, have a word with the driver who came up just a little too short, but not for a lack of effort. Mr. DiCiani, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Matt, of all the drivers to put on a show tonight, I think you were definitely the most fun to watch. It seemed like all night you were just trying to be a little bit off strategy with the rest of the field, just trying to do what they weren't doing. And I'll tell you what, man, it almost worked. You came so close at the tail end of it, taking that 2 tires, gaining the track position. What was the end of that race like for you?
Yeah, I knew stage 3 I was kind of behind, just couldn't get track position at all. Probably didn't do great in qualifying, which put me back there. So just trying to be smart all race and get to the 3rd stage. And I tried to short pit. Maybe something would happen. And luckily I got a chance to take 2 there. And I put myself had a shot at it. So really, that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, definitely a great result, and I'm sure it's a little bit disappointing to come up short, but you can't complain about a great hard effort that you made to get up on the podium. And I know that in the Discord, everyone's been talking about how impressive it is that you've just kind of been working your way through the playoffs based on consistency and just being a bit of a steady Eddie. But now you're showing that you definitely have pace where you can get out here and you can win races every bit as much as the next guy. What is the mindset going into next season, and kind of what's the plans there?
Yeah, just keep building on what I've worked on this year. I feel like I've come a long way, and just keep learning about setups, keep learning about adjustments, just learning how to race smart in this league, which probably took me a lot of time, to figure out. But just keep working on it, and see what happens next year.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we are talking to you under similar circumstances next year, and hopefully you can carry that momentum forward. Thanks for your time, Matt.
Yep, thanks, guys. Yeah, just let me shout out Michael Conti, Adam, Dustin, Patrick, who helped me all week, just giving me a shot here. Without them, I don't think I'd be here.
Absolutely. Shout out to the teammates, and again, thank you for your time. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Matt DiCiani out of the booth, and very solid year for that driver, and I am excited to see what he can do going forward. But now, Morris, it is time to have a word with the 2-time John Delaney. Mr. Delaney, you got a copy?
I do.
All right, well, it's Andre DeMars up in the booth, and it is official. You're going to get the race win, you're going to get the championship, and you will become the first multi-time champion here in the 100% Cup Series. Great way to round out your career here in the league. Congratulations.
Thank you guys. It was well earned for sure. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, John, we mentioned on the broadcast, so you are first 2-time champion going back to back here, so don't have to move the cup around in Discord. So,
yeah.
But look, again, nine months of work, 36 races. All the hours you put in, all of the working with your team, and with again, we know you do the eSports stuff, so juggling all that, you've entered the workforce again as you start your trek of young adulthood. So even balancing all that and still able to remain fast and keep speed. So in the past, all we had to worry about was the glamping, but again, now you're working the 84-hour work weeks, no soft hands, hashtag. And still able to get it done with stiff competition, right? Like this hasn't gotten any easier doing this, right? Not only did you do it last year, you had to do it all over again with even more competitors. Again, we rival the top split iRating SOF. So strength of fields for the folks that are unfamiliar. But you're able to get it done, man. It's been a pleasure to see you and watch you grow. When we first watched you and met you in 2020, I mean, you laid all this out of what you wanted to do in the sim world, and by God, man, you've gotten it done. But 2023 is yours once again. Just walk us through. Let's start with the race. You started out with Robert Miller had a pretty commanding lead over the first bit. But then you came on strong and walked away from a lot of folks. So just walk us through your mentality of coming into this race. What did you think you needed to do, and kind of how you handled the end there as well of with all the restarts and all of the yellow flags that you're getting. Even DeCiani taking 2 tires on you, so you had to deal with a lot there at the end. But just walk us through that of kind of what your mentality was there at the end of the race.
Well, I started off strong, winning the stage. Then Robert got up there, got some clean air, and I was just a little too tight that during the second stage. So I was struggling for a little bit of grip there, but after the second stage and start of the last run, made a little bit of adjustment, and tried to see if I could stay with Robert a little bit, and I was able to. It definitely wasn't easy trying to be up there with him, and he definitely didn't make me trying to pass him easy either. But so I wasn't able to pass him, but I was able to just stay with him the entire run, and I knew my really only shot of getting around him would be to short pit him, and that's exactly what I had to do. So short pit him, but I think it was a lap, and I think if it would have went green, I think we would have had him. But obviously, nothing fails. The caution came out, and definitely threw a wrench in some strategy, and I was a little concerned during one of the cautions that came out where Lucas and I think maybe Alex pitted for tires or something. So I was pretty nervous about them coming back up through the field, but we did have some cautions to kind of ease that a little bit. So we only had just a green white checkered 2-lap run really to the end to worry about, and they weren't going to catch up to me in 2 laps. So it was a pretty stressful race. That definitely not the easiest one I won for sure. Competition has been insane this year compared to years past, and it's amazing that can happen, because you don't want to just go out here and win the race by a full lap, and because that's just not fun. So but yeah, I'm glad had a blast racing tonight, racing all season. Like I said, it definitely wasn't one of our best years, but we were here at the end, last race of the year, coming to win the championship. We're 2 for 3 in the championship, so more than anyone else. So I'm
one more than Cam.
Exactly, one more than Cam. So but yeah, man, I'm happy. So yeah.
Yeah, man. So talk to us about that. So you're the 2-time champ also. So your intentions again as you head off into life, you got bigger fish to fry here, and having to dedicate or take some time away from the video game land. Obviously you might be getting paid for it pretty soon, but then obviously you can start your career. So just what does it mean, man, to 2-time champion? Again, not just the race wins. I mean, it's easy to look at that stuff one at a time, but just the accomplishments over the course of your career, really. I mean, it's been a career now at 100%, just in that of itself, right? So, not to mention all of the official stuff that you got going on, but all that work you put in, coming from, again, when you joined, you're a solid 10th place car, but yeah, not a championship caliber driver. And look, man, year after year, and look, if you race a few people a little bit differently in 2021. Maybe it's 3-time champ John Lane. But no, just talk to us about that journey, man, of just, look, 3 years of your life you put in, man, and it's you find yourself here with 2 trophies in your hand.
Yeah, this league has, I've been a part of it for three or so years now, and quite literally some of these people have watched me grown up, which is pretty weird, but it's the truth. I joined the league as 15-16 year old, and now I'm 18, grown, and there's if you ask some of the people, they'll probably tell you how much I've changed. So, it's
the voice is probably the biggest part. There's a lot deeper than when you first joined, but
yeah. But yeah, I mean, this league has been a blast to run every single year, and that's the reason why I keep coming back and running it. And it's just, I don't know, just how the leagues run, and the type of chemistry you build with everyone on and off the track is just nothing can beat it. So it's such a fun league and community to be a part of for sure. And next year probably won't be all full time. Maybe run a race here or there and be part time. So it is a little bit of sad. This year this was my last year probably doing full time, but we'll show our face hopefully every now and then next year, and still come around and have some fun. So yeah, it's like I said, it's been a very fun 3 years. I've made a lot of connections and friends doing this, and I'm glad I've been a part of it. But all good things come to an end. So
yeah, amen. It's just life progress, man. Nothing wrong with that. So you come out and go out on top, but before we let you go, obviously, let's go ahead and do the podcast break. Who all do you want to thank and shout out here for helping you get it done here and ultimately in the race and then win the championship?
Yeah. Huge shout out to everyone who raced this year. Whether you raced 1 or 36 races, it was definitely fun to be a part of and be on track with everyone who raced. So shout out to the Final Four. Lucas, Matt DeCiani, and Alex Murray. Shout out to those guys for going as far as they did. They definitely deserve it. They were fast all year. So, and even everyone else who didn't make the Final Four, Adam, Dustin, a bunch of other people too. It was a blast running around all y'all. So, a lot of fun memories this year. So yeah, shout out to Kevin Steele for making the paint schemes and running Apex Racing. We didn't win the team championship this year, but we came in second. So nothing too bad to complain about there. But then also all my teammates on Apex Racing as well. Sean, Jason, Alex during the end of the year, and then also Cam at the start. So shout out to all those guys for putting up with me for 36 races. And then thank you guys and everyone who helped with the broadcast booth this year, Carlos and Damaris and all the other commentators, Dirt. They're always on the spot for broadcast. So thank you all for doing what you do. It's definitely a very underappreciated pass that you guys do. So thank you. Want to thank Damaris yourself for running this league for 3 years now. You do a fantastic job. So congrats on what you've accomplished doing this with this league. It's grown over the 3 years, and just keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully still be around when next year do some races. So yeah. And then obviously gotta shout out the sponsors. So obviously I thank all my eSport teammates, Lockdown Racing, for all their help and support throughout the year. And then also Maconia Setup Shop, Stint Analyzer being on the car, Ricky Thompson. Yeah, I think that's it. So it's been a good year, guys. Appreciate y'all for having me. Glad I got the championship. It's definitely a good time. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, a little too young there for some of the after party activities, but I'm sure you'll tear it down. You got the family in chat too, congratulating yourself. I'm sure they're happy for you, so you'll go off and probably celebrate Novak style. I'm sure they're all crying out in the living room right now, so ready to get that celebration going. But nah, man, congratulations to you. Man. You are the man at the top of the hill. John Delaney getting it done here, 2023 champion of 100% Cup Series, man. Congratulations. Enjoy the party, and we'll catch up with you, motor coach, I guess. But you're the man for another year until we get to next November. So congratulations to you. and go enjoy that championship, man.
Thank you guys.
So that is John Delaney, your 2023 champion. And as we look to wrap up here, obviously touch on a couple points. This is the end of a long season, so these guys have put in a ton of work, and ultimately, look, we're just a bunch of friends that have found each other on the internet and built a little community, and all of us are wacky enough to want to run the full-length races. So thanks to everybody that has participated in this over the years. Again, even like as John said, even if it's one race or 5 races or 100 races, man, none of this happens without the people that participate. Let's not forget the part of the reason that we're also here is spreading that awareness for childhood cancer, but more importantly, celebrating the life of Coben Johnson, who we lost last year in his fight with rhabdomyosarcoma. Hopefully I'm saying it right again. But so remembering Coben here. Unfortunately, Adam Benfield couldn't get it done there with the Jimmy Strong car, but we remember him on this race, and it'll remain the namesake. So for those that are still watching and tuned in, we appreciate you making it to the end of the stream, and make sure to tell your friends, family, get the awareness up for childhood cancer. And September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, so put that in the chat. We've got some information we put out during the stream, so let's find those sources, man. Let's get those numbers and that donation up. I'd be remiss too, obviously I got to mention look, we've been here for 3 years, and I didn't do this by myself, right? So Kevin Steele, who has stepped away from admin duties, but look, he's been the lifeblood of this league. I mean, we've organized it together and grown it through the years, and Kevin's always been the one that makes us look pretty, and putting the graphics together and all that kind of thing, but more importantly, just keeping the guys together, man. I mean, he's the guy in Discord that's cracking jokes and making the community thrive. So just thank to Kevin for these last few years, man, and helping get this done, because it doesn't happen without him. So glad that we found each other in 2020 and kept it going all this long. So thanks to Carlos again for man, Carlos, I think you've been here for almost all of our races, man. We broadcast, honestly. So shout out to Carlos and 3Wide TV for being a trusted partner and helping us get this done year in and year out. A lot of Saturdays we spend with each other. So appreciate all the hard work and effort. Dirt, who same thing, right? You started out with us in 2020, and we're happy to have you along all this time. You and Ken started out, and glad you could join us back here on the championship. I couldn't think of a better person to be in the booth here with us. So anyway, another end to a great season, a great, excellent race, clean race from all the guys. Another successful year. I mean, the community is just, I can't say enough for everybody, man. It's been an honor to be a part of it. And we'll see what happens in the future if we can keep it going. And a lot of guys are life changes, but we'll see if we can keep it going a little bit here and what the future brings. But thanks to everybody. Thank you, Callie, for joining us and helping us spread that awareness and celebrating the life of Coben. We appreciate you spending that time with us, because you didn't have to. Obviously, again, this, it'd be easy to, your family is a tough time of year for you. So thank you for allowing us to honor Coben, keep his name alive, and spread the message that we're trying to carry. So all that being said, I guess we'll sign off, unless you got anything, Andre or Carlos, for the folks that are still watching, which I'm sure is nobody.
Probably, but no, I got nothing. It was a great race, and again, thank you for having me in the booth, Mars, and letting me hop in here for this event. Obviously, I told Dustin that I'd be a part of this race come hell or high water, so I wanted to be in the booth, and I was here. So big shout out to Dustin, and of course Callie for spreading the message and the word. Spread that gold, post gold, wear gold, and see if we can't get that criminally underfunded research to actually be funded like it should be. So it's a great cause, and Callie and Dustin are doing great work, and looking forward to next year.
Yep. Anything you want to say, Callie, before we sign off here to wrap us out?
I just want to thank you guys. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your love. I appreciate it.
Yep. Just trying to do our part, man. It's a little bit, but everything helps. So anyway, thank you for joining again. Thanks, Carlos in the booth. We sign off for 2023. Another successful season. John Delaney, the man that stands atop the hill himself with the trophy, your 2023 100% Cup Series champion. And we sign off and see you guys maybe next year. So be sure to tune in then. But until then, good night, good evening. We wish you all the best. We love you all. Until the next time.